14 yards through the air.
I have to say, your coif today, Jordan, is glistening in this 76-degree weather with no humidity and 3-mile-an-hour winds. Is this really the day after Thanksgiving?
It's beautiful, and I'm going to take that as a compliment, what you just said right there. But, man, you cannot design a day any better for football. Sun's coming down a little bit in the stadium. There's some few people that got out of their food coma to come sit in the stands today. Should be a good one.
We're looking forward to it. Louisiana Tech is going to kick off. Southern Miss won the toss and has elected to receive. Jonathan Barnes kicking it deep to the Golden Eagles. And that's George Payne that is back there deep to receive this kick. It's a low line drive, and it goes into the end zone, and Southern Miss will start on offense at their own 25-yard line. Let's take a look. Nick Mullins, the senior from Hoover, Alabama, has had a phenomenal career, but Jordan, he's missed the last couple of weeks with a concussion.
Yeah, and Shannon Dawson was talking about this offense needing a trigger man to make it go. Well, he's back. We've lacked a little bit of production around him, but he's one of the kind of guys that elevates the play of his skill position guys around him. Really looking for them to get off on a fast start this week. They've been plagued by slow starts. We'll see how this starts.
He's lining up at wide receiver on the first play with Keon Howard starting at quarterback, who has been at that position the last few weeks. We say that. Now Ito Smith is there in the Wildcat. Immediately we have a whistle. Today's referee is Rodney Burnett. So false start on Southern Miss. Back them up 5 yards.
We saw Shannon Dawson come out with a little trickery, but sometimes that happens. You get a play that takes a long time, a couple motions in the backfield, a long time to get going. Those offensive linemen up front get a little antsy for the snap. Back in a normal formation now.
Now Mullins will take the shotgun snap. Over 11,000 yards passing in his career. It's an inside handoff that'll go past the 25 up to the 26-yard line. Bradford on the stop after Ito Smith gets 6 yards. He ran for 169 and 3 touchdowns against Louisiana Tech in that 58-24 whitewash in Ruston last season. And in motion on 2nd and 9. Pass goes out to the left side, and the shadows down there near the 33-yard line is Corey Robertson, the sophomore from Greenwood, Mississippi. It'll be 3rd and short.
One of those plays you see in college football all over every team, every conference. The run pass option, that right there was a zone read. Mullins saw numbers, flipped it to the receiver for a screen.
6-yard gain. Southern Miss 40% rather on 3rd down. This might be a free play. And it's incomplete, but there is a flag down. Looked like the Louisiana Tech defender was in the neutral zone. And that is the indication. It'll be a 1st down for Southern Miss.
Sloppy start on both sides of the ball. Like I mentioned, Taylor, really noticing the pace that Southern Miss is setting. They have started slow the past few games, got down in a big hole against North Texas. Very recently, you noticed the pace in between plays. They're trying to run a lot more plays early here.
And Keon Howard is back at quarterback. The true freshman from Laurel, Mississippi. Keeps it himself and is stopped just shy of the 45-yard line. Howard, 22 of 50 passing in the last 2 games for 365 yards, a touchdown, 4 interceptions. He has run for 138 yards. He is absolutely the more athletic of the 2 quarterbacks.
And you're going to see a lot more design quarterback runs with Keon in there. But I like having both the quarterbacks in the game right now. You really have a lot to prepare for on Louisiana Tech side of the ball.
And now a wildcat to Ito Smith. Smith trying to follow the left guard will pick up 3. It'll be 3rd and 1. Xavier Woods, Louisiana Tech's best defender, came up from the safety spot to make the tackle. Smith 7th in the nation with 15 rushing touchdowns this season, as you see there. Back-to-back 1,000-yard seasons. 3rd and 1. They go to Payne this time, and George Payne is stopped short. He is gang tackled in the backfield and might have lost a yard on the play. Lloyd Grogan, the first to him.
Friendly spot, but it's still going to be short. You notice here they're going quick huddle. Watch for the QB sneak.
And that's exactly what we see. And it's right at the first down marker and should be enough for a first down on that. And look at this. We're testy down there.
And it's going to depend on the spot here. What I noticed, this line judge on the side nearest to us had a good spot, but I think they're using the other one and it didn't matter. Love the idea of going quick snap there. They're being aggressive early. Something Shannon Dawson said he wanted to do, be aggressive early, get this team with some momentum. Chance now to get on the other side of the field.
Southern Miss certainly no stranger to going for it on fourth down. Now 21 of 33 on the season after that quarterback keeper moves the chains near midfield. Pistol set, long snap count for Mullins. And here's a reverse. Now a flip back to Mullins. He wants to take it all the way. One-on-one coverage, and it's intercepted, but a flag comes down. Prince Sam gets to the receiver too early, picks off the pass, but could be PI on him.
Defense number 23.
We have an injured Golden Eagle down too.
Automatic first down.
I'm sure we'll get a chance to take another look at this in just a moment. It's Alonze Staggers that's down injured.
I was talking to Baker, the defensive coordinator for La Tech. He said, I expect a lot of this trickery. They go for a reverse flea flicker, throwing it up to the guys. DJ Thompson, 6'3", he's their big target. What I like here is Mullins laid the ball up, gave DJ a chance to come back and fight for it. And they're going to get a good call there. That's the thing about throwing those balls. A little bit underthrown is not bad. You give your receiver a chance to go up and make a play, and if not, you're going to get calls like that more often than not. Pass interference.
We see Alonze Staggers coming off the field. The junior from Woodville, Mississippi, transferred in from East Mississippi Community College, has 50 catches on the season and moving that right arm a bit. So it's 1st and 10 for the Golden Eagles now from the Louisiana Tech 36. Just more than 3 minutes in this Conference USA showdown. The line of scrimmage, Mullins throws it right side. Breaking a few tackles, getting near the first down marker is DJ Thompson. 32nd catch of the season. And it's marked just shy of a first down.
We're seeing a trend here. Those are called runs that Mullins is seeing the numbers on the outside, motioning the guy to the slot. Now you have 3-on-2, and they're flipping it out there with a mismatch.
Bunch formation after that 8-yard pickup. Mullins surveys the field and has a receiver streaking wide open inside the 10-yard line. It's Thompson again. 1st and goal, Southern Miss.
You see Mullins looking to the left, comes back. He's got one receiver, and DJ Thompson to the right with a dig route right over the ball. Great throw, great catch.
See, the shadows are a big part of this game early on. Mullins throws to the shadows, one-on-one to the end zone. Incomplete. Corey Robertson couldn't bring the ball to his body. There is a flag down.
Unnecessary roughness, defense number 45.
Jalen Ferguson, I believe. Mr. Burnett's microphone a little low. Jalen Ferguson called for a personal foul. Let's take a look at this late hit.
And you know what? A little late maybe, but the thing is he was high. You cannot hit the quarterback in the shoulder head area after he releases. If you're going to do anything there, extend your hands, shove him to let him know you're there.
Ferguson has 18 career sacks, 12 this year. In the Wildcat, Keon Howard to the end zone. Touchdown, Golden Eagles.
And Louisiana Tech right now does not have an answer for Keon Howard being in the game at the same time as Nick Mullins. They have run that multiple times on that last drive. Keon is running the ball well. mismatch with the numbers up front when Keon's lining up at quarterback and adds an extra blocker up front. And you're going to keep seeing that. If La Tech does not have an answer for that, you will see that next time Southern Miss has the ball.
So 24th drive that had 10 or more plays this year. Stephen Broccoli in to attempt the extra point, and it is good. Broccoli is good. Jordan Rogers. 7-0 Southern Miss leads Louisiana Tech. Mullins is back, but backup Howard is in the end zone. Nick Mullins had a couple of great passes down the field to DJ Thompson, but backup quarterback Keon Howard came in and ran it in for a 4-yard touchdown. Southern Miss leads Louisiana Tech 7-0, exactly what Coach Hopson wanted, as he's one win away from bowl eligibility here today.
And we mentioned it, they've getting off to slow starts in the past. That's exactly what the doctor ordered. And a little pooch kick here.
Fielded at the 31-yard line, a fair catch from there, and Louisiana Tech starts on offense with Ryan Higgins, the senior from Hutto, Texas. You talked about it in the open, Jordan Rogers. He has been terrific this season.
And started his career as a gunslinger, but he has matured into a very efficient and accurate passer of the football. Done a good job of not forcing things in this offense, allowing the game to come to him. And oh yeah, he's mobile too. He'll sneak up on you with his athletic ability.
34 touchdown passes on the season. Third all-time in a single season behind his quarterback coach Tim Rattay, who is first and second, 46 in one season, 35 in another.
You think he's been told that before? I bet that's come up in meetings a few times.
Has a chance to tie him with a 35th touchdown. Bad snap. Tries to pick up the ball off the ground, and Louisiana Tech is very fortunate to keep it as Jared Kraft dove on it. Higgins made that mistake trying to pick it up, Mr. Rogers, instead of diving on the football.
Rule of thumb number one, the ball is on the ground. You lay on that ball. The ball never bounces the way you want it to. Best thing to do there is drop down. Don't make a bad play worse. Live to play another down.
Loss of 9. Second and 19. Under pressure, he escapes the first rush, throws one-on-one coverage, and turning around on both shoulders is Trent Taylor for the huge catch. First down, Louisiana Tech. That's 40 yards.
And that is the go-to guy for Ryan Higgins. Trent Taylor, not necessarily the burner to get downfield, but man, look at the ball skills there. That is not easy. The ball going over one shoulder, he flips, he actually loses vision of the ball and still hangs on for a big gain when they needed it.
295th career catch, 4th active in FBS football. And he only needs 4 more yards to become the second leading receiver in the history of the program after that catch. Now a pass to him at the line of scrimmage. And he'll get a couple more yards. Actually, they'll give him 5, and now he is second all-time in career reception yards at Louisiana Tech. A senior from Shreveport, Louisiana. His only Division I scholarship offer was to the Bulldogs, and he has a catch in 39 straight games.
And Taylor, from a physical standpoint, he's not going to run by everybody in this league stature-wise. He's not going to overpower people, but what he does so well is read the field like a quarterback, spacing and leverage. That's why he's been so successful with Higgins.
5'8", 178 pounds. This time, Higgins throws behind the receiver, but the catch is made by Alfred Smith. And he's marked down inside the 25-yard line for 7 more. That is a Louisiana Tech first down. There's a huge drop-off between Trent Taylor and Carlos Henderson. Those two guys have been catching everything this season for Louisiana Tech. The third top wide receiver has 16 catches.
And you know where the ball is going. It's going to number 1 or number 5. Defensive coordinator Tony Pecoraro said we got to know where those guys are on the field at all times.
There's 5 this time, and Taylor is near another first down for a pickup of 9 to the 15-yard line. He's tackled by Devontae Foster at that point, but very quickly Louisiana Tech is in the red zone. They're 68% on scoring touchdowns inside the 20-yard line, and you see those incredible numbers for Trent Taylor.
Huge numbers for Taylor. Another guy to watch in the red zone is Carlos Henderson up top. Got press coverage right now.
Instead, it's a handoff straight ahead to Jared Kraft. The junior from Houghton, Louisiana, is a few yards short of 1,000 on the season now, 987.
And if you could have a quiet 1,000-yard season, he's having it with the headlines that Higgins, Henderson, and Taylor have gotten this year.
Also 34 catches out of the backfield. So after that 7-yard gain, it's 2nd and 3. Make that first and goal, excuse me, first and goal after that first down, first and goal from the 8. It's like a late afternoon baseball game with the shadows. A big factor early. It'll be pitch black dark for the second half tonight. Kraft this time is stopped at the 10-yard line by Sherrod Ruff, junior from Cordele, Georgia. Transferred in from Coffeyville Community College. It's a loss of 2. There are 35 guys, Jordan Rogers, that are on this 2-deep depth chart on combined for Louisiana Tech and Southern Miss that played junior college football, and you won a national championship at that level.
That warms my heart right there. There's a few things you can do when you're trying to turn around a program. Develop and recruit high school kids, or you can plug some gaps with junior college guys, and we'll get into it later, just what that type of player brings to your program.
2nd and goal, back at the 10-yard line now. Higgins has plenty of time, one-on-one to the end zone, over the head of Taylor, but there's a flag down in the backfield. Already had 3 of them in the game.
Personal foul, hands to the face, defense number 4.
That is Dylan Bradley, the personal foul, hands to the face. And that gives Louisiana Tech a fresh set of downs.
That's a costly penalty down there. Louisiana Tech struggling a little bit now that we've seen them get into the red zone. Southern Miss playing a lot more man coverage. When I was talking with Tony Pecoraro, the defensive coordinator for Southern Miss, you know, what's your philosophy in the red zone? He said, don't let them score. Well, it looks like right now the formula for that is man coverage, which is going to leave some matchup issues with Taylor and Henderson on the outside.
One guy to watch is number 15, Cam McKnight. He's a receiver slash tight end, but he has 6 rushing touchdowns on the season. He's in motion there. Instead, they go to Kraft, who walks in. Jared Kraft, touchdown.
And you nailed it, Taylor. All the attention there was on Knight in motion. You're going to see him come across. The linebackers flow with him, and there is nobody to meet Jared Kraft in the hole. Well-designed play. We're seeing a little extracurricular activity. This is a rivalry, Taylor. This has not been uneventful for an early first quarter.
Barnes extra point. Straight through, and it's 7 apiece very early on. We expected a high scoring game, and that's exactly what we think we'll get. 6:08 to go in the first quarter. Both these teams have shown off their offense early, and they did that in week number 1 of the season. Jamar Smith got his only start of the year. Arkansas survived against the Bulldogs 21-20, but the Kentucky Wildcats did not. The greatest comeback in Southern Miss history, scoring 34 unanswered points and beating Kentucky and Lexington 44-35. So both of these teams gave the Southeastern Conference some trouble in week number 1 of the season. And their defenses are up against it early in a 7-7 game. Denarius Antoine at the goal line. Antoine makes a couple of men miss, still breaking tackles, and is down in Louisiana Tech territory. That's his best return of the season.
got to stay in your lanes on kickoff. You see one player getting out of his lane, and what that means, you got a hole, and that's a whole lot of playmaking ability right there by 12 to do the rest.
54-yard kick return gives Mullins, Howard, and company very good field position. I mentioned Mullins and Howard. They're both on the field on this play. Nick Mullins, the quarterback, at the bottom of the screen. Keon Howard already with that touchdown run. Now here's a reverse, and now Mullins will throw. And the catch is made for a short gain to Keon Howard. There was a whole lot of movement and laterals for a couple of yards.
A whole lot of hours and time spent in practice this week to design this play for what, a couple yards? But you know what that does? That's not just about the 2 yards. It's about showing different wrinkles with that offense, with that look of Keon and Nick Mullins both being on the field at the same time. It's going to keep Louisiana Tech and defensive coordinator Blake Baker really guessing as to what's going to happen when those two are on the field.
2nd and 8. Right at the line of scrimmage, the pass is caught by DJ Thompson. They've tried that a couple of times today, and it's worked well. 9 more. First down, Southern Miss.
And that's the thing, Taylor, going back to the trick play, though, you think coaches design these just for touchdowns. Yes, I mean, that's obviously what you would like, but you keep a defense guessing. On first down, you come out with a double pass or something off schedule, out of the normal. You're going to make a defensive corner guess next time first down comes up. If they have a tendency, throwing a trick play in there is a good way to get them off of their normal blitzes or coverage for that down.
From the Louisiana Tech 35-yard line, they set up the bubble screen, and Edo Smith is down near the 20-yard line. 15 more for the Golden Eagles.
What I want you to watch here is big number 68, Brandon Farmer, getting out and throwing. That's what you want an offensive lineman to do. It doesn't matter that he didn't get 11 off of his feet there. It's throwing at those defensive backs, those linebackers, that gets them out of the way, that allows those screens to really spring.
Edo Smith has nowhere to go. How about that open field tackle by Xavier Woods, senior from West Monroe, Louisiana. He's been phenomenal picking off opposing quarterbacks with 14 career interceptions. But he also has 8 tackles for loss on the season.
And with the improved play of the corners for Louisiana Tech, it has allowed Xavier Woods to play more center field. He's one of their better cover guys, but he's been able to play a little bit more center field. His eyes are roaming a little bit, and that's why he's been able to get those interceptions, let alone come up and make tackles like that.
Delay handoff to Smith. Left side for 7. It'll be 3rd and 3 from there.
And Edo Smith, this is what I love, that jump cut. Not a lot of guys have the lateral explosiveness to stick your foot in the ground and jump laterally like that. One thing I love when I turn on film of Edo Smith, watching him bail his offensive line out at times with his agility. Louisiana Tech showing pressure here. Good job by Mullins. Now diagnosing that, getting a different play, but hey, this is a chess battle. Louisiana Tech is going to check out of that pressure into his zone coverage.
Fires a rifle for a first down to the 6-yard line. DJ Thompson already with 4 catches in the game, and it's 1st and goal, Golden Eagles.
What you see there is an offense that has a repeat cadence on. So they go through the cadence once to try to set the defense and then look to the sideline. But when you got a guy like Xavier Woods with his experience back there, he's not going to let an offense just change the play and stay in that coverage.
Thompson, the 2nd leading receiver for Southern Miss. To the end zone, wide open is Isaiah Jones. Make that Corey Robertson, but Robertson drops the football, and that's been a huge problem for this team all year.
We talked about it in the open. We talked about the production around Nick Mullins. That is a ball that you have to catch. If you're Robertson, you have to make those type of plays, especially in a game like this. You never know when those opportunities are going to come and go. Keon Howard back at quarterback now. Let's see if they're going to run it, maybe pass it, throw a wrinkle in this 2-quarterback system.
Keeps it himself already with 1 rushing touchdown, and this time He gets inside the 5.
They keep doing the 2 quarterback. Keon Howard coming in. We've seen a few reverses, the flea flicker. Keep an eye on Nick Mullins. Guarantee he was there in practice this week saying, hey, coach, I can catch some balls too.
Throwing, running, and rushing already.
And a huge 3rd down for Southern Miss to try to get 6 and not 3 out of this drive.
9th play of the drive. Into heavy traffic, and it's almost picked off. There were 3 Louisiana Tech Bulldogs there, including Prince Sam, and you see Xavier Woods. So it'll force a chip shot field goal attempt by Southern Miss's Parker Schoenfield. Schoenfield, the starting kicker today, actually not in the game. Stephen Broccoli, who did attempt that extra point, now will attempt this 22-yard field goal. And that is straight through. Southern Miss with the early lead, 10-7 over Louisiana Tech after a 9-play scoring drive, puts them back on top. This college football season, stream every game live on the ESPN app and on Watch ESPN. Download the app or visit watchespn.com today. Wonder what game he's watching right now. He's got one in front of him that is already featured a whole lot of offense in the first quarter, Jordan Rogers.
Yeah, look up a few inches. You got a good game going on right in front of you.
Happy to be with you here on Black Friday as they have a blackout in Hattiesburg at the Rock. It's Alfred Smith at the 5-yard line. Late flag comes down as he gets past the 30.
We've seen a sloppy game so far. I know there's some tempers that are a little increased down there. We've seen a few.
During the return, illegal block in the back by the receiving team, number 33. 2-yard penalty, first down.
But what you can't do, Taylor, is allow your temper or the environment of the game to affect your fundamentals. And a block in the back, dropped balls, you can't allow the stage to be too big for you. And right now we're seeing some jawing back and forth. Got to focus in here.
So Louisiana Tech will start at their own 17-yard line. Davon Washington called for a block in the back there, right there.
It's about as easy as it gets for a rep there.
Skip Holtz, 4th season as the head coach in Ruston. 5 years at UConn, 5 at East Carolina, 3 at South Florida. 118 career wins. Have gotten back to the line of scrimmage. Sherrod Ruff and Ladarius Harris up there to make the hit.
Something to keep an eye on here. Let's see the second drive adjustment by La Tech. There's been multiple times that Carlos Henderson on the outside of Set It is in man-to-man coverage. That is not the guy you want to leave on an island. Let's see if upstairs was able to recognize that and attack at some point on this drive.
Higgins will throw. Deep ball. Too far for Carlos Henderson. Henderson, the speedster from New Orleans who has pro potential, couldn't catch up to that one.
It's a tough thing about it. You got a guy like Henderson, who I was down on the field talking to some coaches that said, hey, he's a legit 4-3 guy. They said, I don't say that about many guys. He's a legit 4-3 guy. Boy, as a quarterback, Higgins steps up in the pocket. You got a guy like that. You're really trying to let him run under the ball. A little bit more air would have allowed Henderson to run under that one. They had a big opportunity they just missed.
Timeout. Southern Miss. That's their first. It'll be 30 seconds.
And we'll be right back here in Hattiesburg for that 3rd down. Golden Eagles 7th in the country in that department. We were mentioning it going into this timeout. Southern Miss's third down defense is exceptional. They are second in the country getting off the field on this down, but Louisiana Tech is pretty good themselves on offense. 7th best in the nation at 52% on this down. So what's the call here for Skip Holtz?
Well, that's the battle we're going to watch all night, is this third down. And what Southern Miss is able to do is provide pressure with really only rushing 4 guys. So they're not really having to blitz, which allows them to play coverage. I would look for an intermediate dig route over the ball. Right now, Louisiana Tech's got 5 wide receivers. You're going to see some kind of combination by the inside guys over the middle of the field.
Ryan Higgins, the senior quarterback, alone in the backfield as Taylor goes in motion. To the sideline, and it's incomplete. Henderson made the diving attempt, but couldn't bring it to his body, and it's 4th down.
They had a progression, a high-low progression to the field. This backside route by Henderson is really what we call an alert for the quarterback. If he likes the man-on-man coverage, he has an opportunity to go there. With the corner playing a little bit underneath coverage there, I would have worked the field. Hard to fault Higgins for going to a guy like Henderson, really close to being a first down there.
Gerald Schaus, just over a 41-yard average on the year. It is Staggers back to receive the punt. Gets a block. Tiptoes the sidelines and is out of bounds. It's a 50-yard punt. And it was a 16-yard return. It's rivalry weekend, and tomorrow the College Game Day crew will be at the Shoe in Columbus for the game. They'll break down the whole day and the big matchup between number 3 Michigan and number 2 Ohio State. Coverage begins at 7 a.m. Eastern on ESPN. It's also streaming live on the ESPN app and watch ESPN. The game in the Horseshoe tomorrow with a 5-hour edition of College Game Day.
Whew. Loser's going to be out. What a big one. What a game.
Buckeyes might still be in even without going to their conference championship game. More on that certainly to come throughout this one. Southern Miss with the lead in the football near the end of the first quarter. Mullins from a dirty pocket, and that catch is made near the sidelines by DJ Thompson.
Great job by Mullins there, being patient in the pocket. He's going to be under some pressure today. We got Jalen Ferguson on one side, Deldrick Canty on the other side.
And it's 10-7, Southern Miss with the lead after a very impressive first quarter. Nick Mullins 7 of 9 passing. Keon Howard with a rushing touchdown. And the Golden Eagles up 3, a win away from bowl eligibility. Southern Miss with an impressive first quarter with 97 total yards. Keon Howard ran one in. Nick Mullins very impressive throwing the football, and the Golden Eagles are picking apart the Louisiana Tech defense. He's Jordan Rogers. I'm Taylor Zarzer here at the Rock in Hattiesburg. Southern Miss needs a win to become bowl eligible. Louisiana Tech wins, and they host the Conference USA Championship game next week. George Payne in the backfield has no place to go. That's a loss of 5.
Once again, you see these motions that they're doing, these jet sweeps, these jet motions. They're really trying to get the linebackers on their toes, make those linebackers hesitate, but allowed a lot of penetration on that one.
Eric Kinzer, the true freshman from Deer Park, Texas. It's the first one to him as we have a 3rd and 8. Here come the Bulldogs, and they force the ball out. No whistle yet, and it's picked up. Lateraled back, and going streaking down the sideline for a touchdown is Louisiana Tech. How about that? It could be a ball that was going forward, as Xavier Woods is the one that Jalen Ferguson forced it out.
And that's
then Cedric
Ferguson.
Cooper. Yeah, how about this?
Up top against Jacob Fleming. Your best player on defense, creating havoc. And then that's fun right
there. Woods with the touchdown there. As the ball was going backwards. Louisiana Tech with the turnover gets the lead. What a house of horrors it has been this year in Hattiesburg. Now minus 19 in turnover ratio.
And all created by the pass rush, really the speed off the edge of Jalen Ferguson. And this is something, as a defense, they practice every time they get a turnover. This week in practice, all season, laterals, trying to get the ball in the end zone. And a costly turnover by Southern Miss, who has been rolling on offense. Once again, their Achilles heel all year has been the inability to protect the football. And that right there comes down to protection.
You're taking another look at this, Jordan, to see if his arm was moving forward, but certainly doesn't appear as it was there as Ferguson made the hit. And then how about this decision by Cedric Cooper? Turning around and throwing it to Woods.
What a heads-up play. Interesting to see if the arm was hit, the ball started to move as his arm is moving forward. It's hard, tough angle to see it there.
If it stands, it's a 40-yard touchdown return off of the forced fumble by Ferguson. He's certainly in a throwing motion there, but it's hard to gauge whether that motion is moving forward or laterally.
And the ball appearing to be a lateral as well.
Conference USA replay crew taking a long look at this. Southern Miss with 26 fumbles on the season. They've lost 15 of them if this stands. But a long look here as Louisiana Tech has taken the lead if it stands. Skip Holtz, the head coach of the Bulldogs, looking on. Wants that home game in Shreveport. Will not be able to play it in Ruston next week if the Bulldogs win today, because they've already started making improvements to their stadium. You see the turnover margin.
On the field is confirmed. Touchdown.
So make that minus 19, which is the very worst in the FBS. After a 40-yard fumble recovery for the touchdown for Xavier Woods. Don't know that you saw enough to overturn the call, but it was definitely debatable.
And I think regardless, that ball going backwards. But hey, Jalen Ferguson, number 45, is going to be somebody that I mentioned to Shannon Dawson. What do you do with a playmaker like that? They're going to have to deal with him.
Jonathan Barnes, extra point, good. Louisiana Tech gets the turnover, takes it to the house.
They'll never admit it, but deep down, Michigan and Ohio State actually love each other.
That's love. That's love.
Can't wait to watch that tomorrow. The 113th meeting. Michigan leads the series, but Ohio State has dominated it in the 21st century. The last time Michigan won in the Horseshoe was 16 years ago. That man on the left better have a big game in all three phases if they're going to end that streak. Here comes the return for Southern Miss. It is Denarius Antoine, stopped shy of the 20-yard line. There is a flag down. Southern Miss trailing Louisiana Tech 14-10 after Xavier Woods off of a lateral took it 40 yards for a touchdown. The second fumble return for a touchdown this year.
Return, holding by the receiving team, number 27. Penalties after distance to the goal, first down.
That on Kevin Williams. Jordan Rogers, if you're Louisiana Tech, now you have a little bit of momentum. Conversely, Southern Miss was dominating their defense before that last play.
Yeah, I think if you're Louisiana Tech, you're a little bit, you can take a deep breath now. But I would just continue to allow Jalen Ferguson to rush off the edge. Right now, Southern Miss doesn't have an answer. That's something I spoke very specifically about with Shannon Dawson, the offensive coordinator. And now we see Will Freeman back in the game at left tackle, number 69. That last play in the fumble, it was Jacob Fleming at left tackle that gave up the ground to Jalen Ferguson.
So poor position on the field for the Eagles at their own 9-yard line. Mullen surveys, and George Payne won't get back to the line of scrimmage. He's going to lose a couple. Right there in pursuit was Lloyd Grogan. So second and long for Southern Miss after Grogan, the senior from Morgan City, Louisiana, makes the tackle. And it's 2nd and 12. Turnover numbers for the Golden Eagles. Been a mess all year. Near the line of scrimmage again. This time Thompson, he gets a block and he steps out of bounds just shy of the 20-yard line. It'll be 3rd and short after a pickup of 11.
Louisiana Tech still does not have an answer for that design play right there. They motion Julian Allen across the formation towards the 2-receiver side, and nobody bumps across from Louisiana Tech side with him. They have a 3-on-2 matchup. 3rd time now they've completed that.
Give a good spot there. In fact, he does get a first down, so it's a 12-yard gain for DJ Thompson. 1st and 10, Southern Miss. Wide open past the 40 is Alenze staggers into Louisiana Tech territory. The leading receiver for the Golden Eagles makes his first today, and that's for 38 yards.
Very well designed play there, and Staggers is a guy you got to get going, leading the team in receptions. Really been the only bright spot on the receiving core that has been up and down with drops and lack of production.
Jalen Ferguson was at the quarterback before the whistle had blown. Alenze Staggers has had a terrific year transferring in from East Mississippi Community College.
Offside, defense number 95. 5-yard penalty, first down.
So Louisiana Tech, long before the ball was snapped, you see 45, Jalen Ferguson there, offsides.
Ferguson, though, looks like he's timing up the snap. Although he was a little bit early there, he must be hearing something, a rhythm, a cadence from Mullen. So look for Southern Miss to change up this cadence and keep him guessing.
From the Louisiana Tech 38, inside handoff to Edo Smith. And Smith is down near the 20-yard line. That's a pickup of 18 yards, and we have another flag.
And this is what happens. This is the counter to Louisiana Tech now bumping linebackers over with Julian Allen now in motion. They leave somebody, they have less defenders backside now when they bump over with that jet sweep motion that we've seen. That's what's going to happen. Well-designed, well-executed game plan here early by Southern Miss.
Unfortunately, though, for them, there was a holding call on the play, and it'll bring the ball back to the Louisiana Tech 41-yard line. So it'll be a 1st and 8 after they enforce the penalty. Golden Eagles need to get right around the 33. This time Smith goes straight up the gut, hard running. will produce another Golden Eagle first down. Ito Smith, 7th in the nation in rushing touchdowns, 2 consecutive 1,000-yard seasons. He has over 1,200 now on this year.
As good of a running back as there is in Conference USA. Rare ability from an agility and jump cut standpoint. Keep feeding it.
It's down Highway 98. He's from Mobile, Alabama. The junior gets the football again, and this time inside the 30 for 4 more. Smith averaging over 5.5 yards per carry on the season in Coach Shannon Dawson's offense. Dawson, the offensive coordinator, really is the head coach of this offense. It's quite clear that Jay Hobson gives Dawson complete control of the play calling and decision making, even when it comes to going for it on a 4th down. 2nd and 6. Underneath, the catch made by the tight end Julian Allen, and Allen moves the chains for another USM first.
And Taylor, you mentioned it, the relationship between head coach of the offense Shannon Dawson and head coach of the team Jay Hobson. The communication between head coach and offensive coordinator is very interesting, team to team. Dawson made it clear there was firm boundaries between the communication, meaning that Shannon Dawson has full control of this offense, scheme, play calling, decision making.
Mullins one-on-one to the end zone. Touchdown, DJ Thompson.
DJ Thompson on a team that production has been up and down, has been one of the more consistent receivers, and now the 2nd time we've seen Mullins take advantage of a wheel route down the sideline. They're obviously seeing something in the underneath coverage from the nickel and linebackers and exploiting that mismatch early.
21-yard touchdown reception for the senior from Pearl, Mississippi. Rockley's extra point is partially blocked, but goes through, and Southern Miss is back on top. A 21-yard throw from Mullins to Thompson, and the Golden Eagles are up 3. DJ Thompson makes the catch, 21 yards for the touchdown, and Nick Mullins ties Austin Davis for the most touchdown passes in school history with 83. How'd he do it?
Down at the bottom of the screen here, it's just a double move. Notice what he does with his head and shoulders. He looks inside, which really draws the cornerback there to allow him that second of time to burn past him. It's one thing a lot of people underestimate there from the receiver position. A stop and go is easy to do, but to stop and actually sell the route with your head and shoulders, that's what really gets those cornerbacks to bite. And you saw Ephraim Kitchen, who's actually one of their better defenders in man coverage, giving up the touchdown there.
8 plays, 91 yards, as Boston Scott will field it inside the 5. Spin move, and he's lit up at the 20. So the Bulldogs are back on offense, trailing 17-14. Yardage-wise, the Golden Eagles have outproduced their opponent in 10 of 11 games this season, as you see the big hit here. And that hit by Walden Davis, and he is still down on the ground. We'll check on him and come back to Hattiesburg in just a moment. Walden Davis walking off the field, nursing his right hip area. We're ready for action as Louisiana Tech looks for their 8th consecutive victory. Haven't lost one since September. Boston Scott, and Scott is tripped up at the 25-yard line. Louisiana Tech played games for 11 straight weeks before they had an open week last Saturday. Skip Holtz said that is not ideal. Had to wait till week 11 last year for his open week, playing 10 straight games, and this year they played 11 in a row. 2nd and 6. Higgins to Taylor, and Trent Taylor with his 3rd catch as he's tackled by Kelsey Douglas, but not before Taylor moves the chains. And he may be undersized, but boy, he has had a phenomenal collegiate career.
And if you'll notice what Southern Miss is starting to do, they're playing a linebacker or nickel back inside of him, a safety over the top. So right now, really the only room he has is that outside. You see him exploit that with a bubble route to the outside. But doubling guys like that, that's going to leave somebody in one-on-one coverage.
Scott looks for space, makes one man miss, and gets past the 35-yard line. You saw Skip Holtz there a moment ago. In his 17th year as a head coach, his 4th at Louisiana Tech. He's 52 years old, and he's won the most league games of anyone since 2014 with 19 in Conference USA. He's has the Bulldogs going to a bowl game for the 3rd straight year. They've never done that before. Says he loves Ruston, Louisiana. Completely on the same page with the athletic director and the president. That is Boston Scott, who tried to sidestep a defender and might have lost a yard.
Boston Scott, 5'6", just under 200 pounds. He's a slasher, one of those scat backs. They'll get him the ball. Think about a running back being that short. It's actually tough for the linebackers then to see him as the ball's snapped and as those big guys are moving around in front. Sometimes those small backs get caught up in the wash for the linebackers, and they're able to use that to their advantage. Big 3rd down here for Louisiana Tech. They got to get back some momentum back on their side.
From their own 35, Higgins. 1st down catch made by Taylor right at the chains. As Curtis Michael made the big hit. Now, it'll depend on the spot here as he stepped out right around the 43-yard line.
Great ball location on the outside, but does look like he is a little short here. And unfortunately, not on the other side of the 50. Skip Holtz making the right choice here and punting this football away.
Gerald Schaus in for his 2nd punt with Antoine back deep. Schaus had one of his best punts of the season, a 50-yarder, his first time. This is another booming punt that goes over Schaus's head, and it takes a bulldog bounce as it's marked down at the 11-yard line. That's a 47-yard punt. Southern Miss with a 3-point lead and the football midway through the 2nd quarter. Beautiful day in Hattiesburg, where the home team, Southern Miss, leads 17-14. Tonight after Arizona State, Arizona. Tune into SportsCenter at night on ESPN with Kenny Mayne and Nicole Briscoe. They'll have college football and college basketball highlights from the NBA and NHL, NFL news, and everything else from your post-Thanksgiving sports day. It's also streaming live on the ESPN app and watch ESPN. You see Jay Hobson, the first-year head coach of the Golden Eagles. He was here twice as an assistant for Jeff Bauer, spanning 6 years. Most recently was the head coach at Alcorn State for 4 seasons. Took the job in February after Coach Monken decided to go be an assistant coach in the National Football League right before National Signing Day. Mullins hands it to Ito Smith, and Smith dances around, making Bulldogs miss past the 35-yard line. Ito Smith with another big gain, this time for 26 yards.
You see the agility, you see the speed. Once again, I'm going to say his name, big number 68, Brandon Farmer, with a great seal block there. to allow Ito to get to the outside, then that's all him. Making guys miss, that's what he is best at.
63 yards rushing on the day for the junior from Mobile, Alabama. 1st and 10, a little bubble screen. It's Smith again, and he's got plenty of speed, staying in bounds before he's shoved out. Xavier Woods might have prevented a touchdown. 26-yard run, 33-yard receiving catch.
Those big boys up front sometimes don't get enough credit. 2 really good blocks up here. Finishing off there by Cameron Tom, the center, getting out downfield, allowing Ito once again with some space to utilize his speed.
Smith has over 400 yards receiving on the season. First and 10 for the Golden Eagles from the 30. Smith, fresh legs, 3 straight plays, this time for a modest 9 yards. It's 2nd and 1.
And when the running game is working like that, as you get into the high red zone here inside the 25-yard line, it's prime territory for a play action. Keep an eye on Alanze Staggers. They're moving him around. He was up top on the left, now in the slot on the right.
Mullins comes back to Thompson again, who has the 1st down catch inside the 10-yard line. What a big game Thompson has had so far today.
And a big block by his counterpart. Alanze Staggers getting out in front here with a big block.
8 catches for 95 yards, and it's 1st and goal from the 10.
Once again, that repeat cadence, the 2nd time they've gotten into the red zone. Checked what La Tech has on defense and adjusted their call.
Smith following that guard and tackle around the left side for a couple. We mentioned Coach Hobson and offensive coordinator Shannon Dawson. Statistically, we showed it in the open today, Jordan. Top 30 in offense, top 20 in defense. Turnovers, though, could be a product of that coaching change coming at an awkward time in February.
Turnovers are not a product of a physical limitation. It's a mentality.
Mullins to the end zone. Catch made. Touchdown. DJ Thompson again.
DJ having a huge game. This is a stop route. Sells the fade. Great job of Mullins putting it on his back shoulder. Little double catch like we mentioned there. A mentality, grabbing that ball and catching it the first time. But boy, he's been consistent so far this game. And really this entire season, been the most consistent player for Southern Miss on offense.
That was too easy.
Too easy.
9 catches, 103 yards receiving and 2 touchdowns. That one from 8 yards out. Broccoli has the extra point blocked again, and this time it's no good. So the lead is 9. Aaron Brown got in there and blocked that one. Broccoli in today kicking in relief of Parker Schoenfield. So it'll remain a 9-point game. Let's check this out one more time.
Not as much a product of what's happening up front as it is a product of how low that ball is coming off Broccoli's foot. Especially on a PAT, you got to get under that thing. I mean, I'm not a kicker, but I was a holder. And I can tell you, those PATs, get under that ball, get it high, get it through. But those balls are coming out low. That's usually what happens when a field goal kicker has a long field goal. He's attempting, trying to drive the ball. But for those PATs, that's got to come out higher.
So Brown with his first field goal or point after touchdown block of the season, and it's 23-14. 6 plays, 89 yards, 3 minutes, 12 seconds, culminating in an 8-yard touchdown catch for Thompson. And the Golden Eagles, statistically, They've been putting it on Louisiana Tech so far.
This ball game's going to be a sprint, Taylor. So you know, on the sidelines right now, Todd Fitch is telling Ryan Higgins, we got to make some plays. We got to answer back here, down 23-14. Every drive important.
Short kick and another fair catch, and Bulldogs will start from near their 30-yard line. Let's take a look at what's at stake here today for both teams. Southern Miss 5-6 with a win. They're going bowling again, and Louisiana Tech does not want to play at Western Kentucky or at Old Dominion. Instead, they want to play in the Independence Bowl in Shreveport next week, which is what they would be using as their home facility, with theirs under construction in Ruston.
What poor timing, right? Got a chance to have a home game for a championship, and it's going to be a neutral site.
Higgins throws left side to his favorite target, Mr. Taylor, who steps out of bounds after a 12-yard completion. 95 total yards now for Louisiana Tech. Southern Miss has 277.
And as I mentioned there, Taylor's getting bottled up inside. They're allowing him to access the outside of the field. Second time in a row on a quick out route, they've been able to have success.
They go back to him again, and he makes the catch for a handful.
That's why Taylor's been so successful. He sees the field, like I mentioned earlier, as a quarterback does. Notices leverage of the nickel backs over the top of him there. He's able to notice the outside leverage, cut inside. That's an option route. He has the option to go both ways on that time. Set it up with the outside routes and was able to get it on the inside.
Higgins to the middle of the field, and a wide open catch is made there. All the way down to the 24-yard line goes Cam McKnight for 27 yards.
Beautiful recognition here by Ryan Higgins. Got two safeties high. You want to attack the middle of the field. Cam Knight able to find that hole in the middle with both safeties playing very wide.
Louisiana Tech has 8 completions today. 6 have gone to Taylor. That was McKnight's first catch. This time it's Henderson. Incomplete. They've looked for him a couple of times straddling the sideline, but in one-on-one coverage there, they say he did not have his feet in bounds.
Another look at it. Great back shoulder throw. That left foot comes out, but the timing of his feet here is the right.
Oh, that right foot comes down before the left.
He's not in the NFL yet, Taylor.
Curtis Michael there in coverage, as they will review this one and take another look, and this could be overturned if he did have possession of the football when that right foot came down in bounds. That's tough to see from this angle whether he had possession of the ball, but that right foot, as you see there, comes down first.
What I love there, just the recognition by Ryan Higgins with Curtis McKell playing over the top. His normal speedster receiver Henderson usually can beat that guy, but doesn't have leverage there, throws the back shoulder ball. Henderson does a great job of securing it. That right foot comes down. I will tell you what, Taylor, I wish college football would go to 2 feet down. I really do. Why not? NFL does it 1 foot down. I mean, just, I don't get the idea of why 1 foot? Why not 2? The NFL does it. Get 2 feet in, right? Come on. The white paint's there for a reason. I don't know if I have much more than just I think that's how it should be, but
I have to give you credit for being Mr. Objectivity as usual, because as a quarterback, 1 foot down pads those stats.
Definitely does.
Jordan Rogers to Jordan Matthews many times in Nashville for a couple of years, including a big win in the Music City Bowl. Mr. Matthews has to get 2 feet down in Philadelphia these days.
And he's one of those guys that ball skills was off the charts. And that's not something you can practice. The tapping the sideline there is, you can rep it, but that is an innate instinct. That is something you have or you don't have. Body control and ball skills are the first thing I look for in a guy that's going to be a go-to guy for me. Jordan Matthews definitely has it. Henderson has shown that he's been able to do that now on the sideline. But boy, not something you can teach.
There's no doubt Henderson has that pro look, doesn't he? 5'11", 191, 16 touchdowns this year to lead the country.
That right there is going to get him an opportunity somewhere. From a physical standpoint, his skill set is there.
The receiver caught the ball at the 8-yard line and went out of bounds. It'll be first and goal at that spot.
That's a 16-yard completion to the 9-yard line, make it the 8-yard line, as you just heard, and that's the first catch of the day for Carlos Henderson.
And they got to be able to get him going. As I've noticed, some double coverage, some bracketing of the slot receiver Trent Taylor. It's going to leave more and more opportunities in this game for Carlos Henderson to have some big plays downfield.
Louisiana Tech near the doorstep.
Trent Taylor up top, a lot of room in man-to-man coverage. That might be the reason there's a timeout there. I would have called one.
With 1:55 to go until halftime. Coming up at halftime, more on the game with Michigan and Ohio State. Big Ten college football playoff implications all over the place this weekend. And certainly we'll have a recap as well of what's happened here so far in the first half. The 48th meeting in this series. Southern Miss leading it 32-15 all time. 17-7 here against those Bulldogs in Hattiesburg. First game was played in 1935 down in Ruston, won by Louisiana Tech 27-0, and we talked about the most recent affair last year. All Golden Eagles, 58-24. Louisiana Tech had 7 turnovers in that game. They're ready at the 8-yard line. Kraft in the backfield, gets the football, goes straight ahead near the 6. Another Golden Eagle that's down after this play. You see Ladarius Harris there. One of the pass rushers for Southern Miss, a sophomore from Pinson, Alabama. For Coach Hobson's defense. He forced 3 turnovers last week at North Texas. It's the best total they've had in 7 weeks, as Harris has helped off. So 2nd and goal now for the Bulldogs from the 6-yard line. As Kraft is in the backfield on that last play with Bobby Holly blocking in front of him, and see if Higgins tries to find number 1. We flanked out to the right. Is that what you like, or are you looking for Taylor in the slot?
I'm looking for a matchup here up top. Looks like Taylor's going to be in the slot. Looks like man coverage across the board. It's a lot of room for Taylor either direction in the back of the end zone.
Instead, Higgins looks left, and it's incomplete. He's trying to throw it over the top to Alfred Smith, and he couldn't make the catch. 3rd down. Good defense there by Cornell Armstrong.
And Smith had it. Had 2 hands on the ball. This is what cornerbacks are taught, to reach through with your hands in between. He's a great job of not giving up on that play, finishing all the way.
Higgins had completed 6 in a row before that play. He's under heavy pressure. He loses the football. There's a dive for it. It looks like it was recovered, at least initially, by Louisiana Tech. And it'll lose 8 yards as Sherrod Ruff comes in to force the fumble.
They were trying to throw a slip screen to the left. Great job of falling on the ball there. That's the difference between points or no points.
Darryl Brown, the left tackle, dove on the ball, and it's 4th and goal from the 14. And Louisiana Tech's offense is staying on the field. But Jay Hopson, the Southern Miss coach, is going to call a timeout.
Wow. Not sure if they were.
Full timeout.
Not sure if they were going to try to draw him off sides real quick, call a timeout, and kick a field goal, but it's 4th and goal. They're sitting back at the 14-yard line. Not many plays designed to get a 14-yard touchdown on 4th down. Got to imagine they're going to rethink it here. Maybe they have a play they really like, though, Taylor. You never know.
Louisiana Tech down 9, trying to get their 9th victory of the season and have, I guess you could say, the top seed in the Conference USA Championship game, which would mean they'd have the best year in the entire league. Western Kentucky, if they win tomorrow at Marshall, will join the Bulldogs in that game. If they lose and Old Dominion wins, the Monarchs could be playing Louisiana Tech next week. So here's the field goal team. This will be a 31-yard attempt from the left hash from Jonathan Barnes. Logan McPherson will hold it. Darryl Travis to snap it back. And it is in there, sneaking through the left upright. And our new score is Southern Miss 23, Louisiana Tech 17. Seems like the proper decision there early in the game.
Absolutely. You don't want to chase points. It's only the first half. Get 3 and get out of there, especially after a near disaster, almost losing the ball to a fumble there. And something like you mentioned, last year this game, Louisiana Tech had 7 turnovers. As Southern Miss has found out this year, you can't win when you turn the ball over like that. Point of emphasis, especially in the red zone, protect the ball.
You wonder if Skip Holtz did that simply to force Hopson to burn his last time out with only 36 seconds remaining here in the half, putting his offense on the field there on a 4th down before making the proper decision.
That's a good point. He definitely wasn't going to throw the ball there. Some kind of trickery they were trying.
Staggers and Antoine are deep. George Payne inside the 5-yard line, tries to get around the edge and cannot. Southern Miss has 27 seconds left in the first half. Nick Mullins has been terrific so far in this game. His backup quarterback Keon Howard has come in to run the football for a touchdown from 4 yards out. But Mullins 16 of 18, 202 yards passing and 2 touchdown strikes to DJ Thompson.
And boy, are they happy to have him back. You mentioned Keon Howard has been great in the run game, but struggling heavily the last few weeks passing the football. Just 10 of 26 last week. So very happy to have Nick Mullins back, completing balls and moving this offense.
84 touchdowns now for Mullins, first all-time in Southern Miss history. Edo Smith will get a couple. And Louisiana Tech has all of their timeouts left, and they're going to choose to use them. So 22 seconds left in the first half, and in Conference USA, Jordan, the half is never over until there are 4 zeros on the clock. Always try to get your offense back out there.
That's true, but with 75 yards here, what you're going to do, you're going to see another handoff. And their thought process here is, hey, if he breaks one for 50, then we got a chance to take one shot into the end zone. If he gets stuffed again, you'll see them allow this clock to run off. They're going to be happy going into the locker room up 6.
See Coach Hopson over there. He has experience coaching at a bunch of different prestigious schools as an assistant. Memphis, Michigan, Ole Miss, Marshall, Florida, and LSU. course, was at Alcorn State the past 4 years before coming back to the Golden Eagles. Mullins is going to throw underneath to Smith, who is lit up. Big hit there by Cedric Cooper. Pops the ball loose. Incomplete. 13 seconds left.
Interesting call to pass the ball here. You'd hate to see that ball get deflected up in the air. Something bad could happen. 13 seconds left. Taylor, let's take this one to the locker room.
Mullins will throw the bubble. And it's a first down run by Ito Smith. Out to the 40-yard line. I say run after the catch there, after the completion of 15 yards. To see if they get a playoff, and they will not. That's the end of the first half as Louisiana Tech trails Southern Miss 23-17. Coming up, stay tuned for a recap of today's news and highlights in college football. Let's send you to the studio for the halftime report after these messages.
I want people to understand this rivalry.
The significance of it.
The Buckeyes will play for a national championship.
That's the game of games, the game that I grew up watching.
Let's party, Columbus! Touchdown, Ohio State. The route is on at the Big House.
This is Michigan. There is no turnarounds in Michigan. This is greatness.
Goodbye! Hello, Heisman. Woodson's got one block. Touchdown! Michigan goes to the Rose Bowl.
We really don't like each other.
You have a whole state that you're fighting for.
It's called the game for a reason.
Should be a great one in Columbus. You take a look at some of these numbers according to the FPI. Now, that efficiency down there, Michigan second, Ohio State third in the FBS ranks this fall. That means the amount of points produced per given possession. So certainly very efficient football teams to this point between Michigan and Ohio State as they get set to take on each other in Columbus. Now, welcome into the studio here at ESPNU. It was a little bit of a tough stretch for about 3 weeks for Ohio State. They seem to have recovered back on track. But the last 2 weeks for Michigan haven't been overly pretty on the back half of this season. Is that a team that can go to Columbus and win?
Well, they have to do a much better job with John O'Corn. And his receivers have to help them. They got to make plays. Their running game has really been the thing that has helped them, and they've done a nice job. And their defense has been salty. They do a really nice job up front. They take a lot away. And when you talk about that defense with Jabril Peppers and what he's going to do on offense, because I think they've kind of been hiding him the last few weeks, he has to be the X factor, not only on defense but offense, in my opinion.
As they're constructed now, no. As what we saw against Indiana last week, okay, if they come out there offensively like that, there's no way they beat Ohio State. If they come out there and they use Jabril Peppers in all kinds of various ways, quarterback, running back, whatever you want to do, safety, linebacker, move him on the field, possibly. But the team that I saw finish the game against Indiana had zero confidence throwing the football, okay?
Right.
And you're not going to beat Ohio State just running it down their throat. It's not going to happen.
Listen, there's a reason the committee loves Ohio State, even with that loss. And they're second,
because they respond.
Right, the second last week. The reason is because the schedule they played. And the schedule that they played, even though it beats you up in the middle of the year, those scars serve you when you get to games like this. Michigan really hasn't been there. But, you're talking about Ohio State, who's played Oklahoma, who went to Wisconsin, who had the loss at Penn State. They've kind of been through the ringer already, and they've survived. And because of that, I think the been there, done that factor is probably going to could be the X factor to offset maybe Jabril Peppers, who I think could be the key to the game.
Now, I think we've undervalued, and everybody's probably undervalued, just how important a component Wilton Speight was to this offense. He knew the offense inside and out. They could run the complete offense. Tremendous play-action passing game to take the ball downfield. Very few attempts last week with John O'Corn. Very conservative. I don't know how much trust there is that they feel like he's going to have a positive result, not turn the ball over, but they better come up with some balance because going on the road to your point, Jason, they can't just run it and not have anything over the top.
You don't know what you have till it's gone.
Yep.
And you said this best. The last 2 weeks, they're 1 of 18 on passes 10 yards or more. Last week, John O'Corn threw for 59 yards. That's not going to get it done.
No.
That's why I said they're going to have to do some different things. And you're not going to run it down their throat. Ohio State, that is. You're going to have to play a different game.
So Ohio State?
Ohio State.
Ohio State.
Yeah.
Ohio State. Boy, that should be fun for the College Football Playoff Committee if that's the case. All right, the Jiffy Lube rivalry series, Michigan versus Ohio State, that's going to kick off Saturday at noon on ABC.
Welcome into the set of Power Hour. Matt Schick along with Jason Sehorn and Elika Sadeghi. It is going to be a fascinating weekend of college football. It already began with some games on Thursday. How about tomorrow, though, with the Big Ten? What is going to happen here? Michigan controlling its own destiny in the Big Ten East. A win over Ohio State Saturday, and the Wolverines go to the Big Ten title game. There's just a 41% chance, though, of that happening, according to our Football Power Index. The most likely scenario is Penn State winning the division, which will happen with wins by Penn State and Ohio State on Saturday. Penn State plays Michigan State later in the day, so they'll have an idea of where they stand since Michigan-Ohio State is at noon Eastern. So let's just have the hypothetical that Ohio State beats Michigan. What happens playoff-wise with the Big Ten if that happens?
Chaos. I mean, you're going to
angry people?
Yeah, well, especially because given the fact that Penn State is going to have an opportunity to win the conference, have that conference championship that the playoff committee looks so favorably on, also have that head-to-head over Ohio State, who the committee values very much, but they'll have those 2 losses kind of earlier in the season. They'll also have fewer wins over ranked teams than Ohio State. So that's going to make the decision very difficult, I think, for the committee in terms of what to do with these Big Ten teams.
Yeah, what is the worst-case scenario? If you're on the committee and you're like, okay, I just don't want this to happen, what is the this that would just drive them nuts?
It's a big story, but it's Washington wins out, Oklahoma wins, Ohio State wins, and Penn State wins.
Ooh.
So you've got the scenario where Oklahoma is a conference champion. You've got a scenario where Washington is a conference champion. Then you got Penn State, who beat your number 2 team in the country, then just beat another one in Wisconsin, who you have ranked in the top 10.
Number 6, yeah.
And is a conference champion, which you put the highest amount of regard on. Oh, and the second one's like this head-to-head thing that they have over Ohio State. That's the worst-case scenario for them because they have to put in 2 Big Ten teams. There's no possible way Ohio State beats Michigan and they kick them out of the Final Four.
It's interesting that you say that because Penn State is 7, Wisconsin now is 6, but you believe it would be more difficult to kick Wisconsin out as a Big Ten champ or leave Penn State out as a Big Ten champ?
Sorry, I was already at the point where they were playing each other in the championship game.
Right, but if Wisconsin wins the Big Ten championship, could they be left out as well? Ohio State owns that head-to-head. Is that easier to leave them out?
I think it's easier to leave Wisconsin out, honestly.
Even though they're ranked higher than Penn State.
Yeah, but they lost. You know what I mean? So it's like that's why, because Penn State beat Ohio State. They have that head-to-head against them. That's the only one that does.
I think that also depends on whether they're going to play Penn State or Michigan. Keep in mind, there's still a chance that Penn State loses to Michigan State and Michigan goes to that conference championship game. And if that happens, Wisconsin actually has a chance to avenge one of their earlier losses, prove to the committee that they're playing much better now. It remains to be seen whether or not they'll be looked at as more of a one-loss conference champ at that point if they're able to avenge one of their losses.
Yeah, I just like the worst-case scenario better.
Of course you do.
You know why? Because I still think it's an odd system that rewards 4 teams when we have 5 Power 5s. So every single year, you're always going to say one's out. I would love to see 2 out, then you go, okay, maybe we do need 8. Maybe we need the 5 Power 5s as automatic bids, and then we have these 3 at-larges. More is better.
If you are...
It's always better.
Yeah, but then what's the fun of that? If you are Ohio State, would you prefer that you get into the Big Ten championship game and face Wisconsin with that win, or would you prefer you beat Michigan but have Penn State win against Michigan State, so you're left out, so you don't run the risk of absorbing a tough game, a tough loss?
I think at this point, given the fact that the committee looks at them so favorably, knowing that they likely won't have an opportunity to win a conference championship, I think I would rather have Penn State go and have them play that game. You've already proven that you can beat Wisconsin.
You beat Michigan, let Penn State go play another game, you get healthy and go to the playoffs anyway.
That's it. That's it. I mean, yeah, you win by not playing for a championship. Championship Drive Power Hour. Check us out every Tuesday. This Tuesday, 11 p.m. Eastern.
Senior Day in Hattiesburg, Mississippi. It's halftime where Southern Miss leads Louisiana Tech 23-17. Taylor Zarzour, Jordan Rogers, happy Black Friday. It's a blackout in Hattiesburg, and the offense has shown up.
Absolutely. I mean, we didn't expect it to be looking like this in the first half, but Southern Miss has showed up to play. I love what they're doing on offense. They obviously saw some things on film this week that La Tech was showing, and they've exploited it on the outside.
Let's take a look at the highlights in the first half. Started with Keon Howard with a rushing touchdown for the Golden Eagles coming off the bench for 4 yards. But Southern Miss has struggled turning the ball over all year.
That's the guy they had to have, somebody on Jalen Ferguson. And once again, turnovers are the story for Southern Miss. They have got to be able to protect the ball in the second half.
Nick Mullins, though, got back on track throwing the ball. He's 17 of 20 passing, 2 touchdown strikes to DJ Thompson.
And boy, did they miss the efficiency of Nick Mullins. With all eyes on Alizé Staggers, DJ Thompson has had man-to-man matchups all night, and they've exploited that.
The stat sheet is all Southern Miss, but Louisiana Tech is right in it. Down 6 to the Golden Eagles at the Rock. Second half kickoff is coming up in just a moment from Hattiesburg. Southern Miss leads Louisiana Tech as we get ready to start the third quarter, 23-17. With the former Vanderbilt quarterback Jordan Rogers, I'm Taylor Zarzour, and you'd be proud to see that both of these quarterbacks have played very well so far today.
In the passing game, both very efficient, like I said. What I'm going to notice here is I'm going to look for Louisiana Tech to take some shots early. Had one opportunity downfield with Carlos Henderson that they barely missed. Mullins has been able to exploit downfield a little bit more than Higgins has. I think you'll see Louisiana Tech come out very aggressive.
And Southern Miss got off to a hot start with Mullins, 17 of 20 passing in that first half. But Louisiana Tech will get the football first in the second half, trailing 23-17. And you look at the stat sheet in the first half, as Southern Miss has 300 total yards, only 139 for Louisiana Tech, yet they're within 6 points of the lead.
But it's that turnover game that has been the Achilles heel for Southern Miss. They can produce a few more turnovers, create some havoc. They're going to get some more opportunities, but it's really going to come down to being consistent on third down for Louisiana Tech, exploiting the mismatch by Trent Taylor when they have it, and you're going to see a shot in this first series here.
Tyler Sarazen's kick sends Carlos Henderson into the end zone. So here's what they're playing for today. Louisiana Tech wins the game. They host Conference USA Championship game in Shreveport, not in their own stadium, but down the road in Shreveport with a victory. Meanwhile, Southern Miss needs a victory to become bowl eligible, having dropped 3 consecutive games.
And for Southern Miss, I mean, don't underestimate, it's not just a bowl. That's another chance to develop. Nick Mullins is going to be gone next year. This offense, this team is going to be different. Those bowl practices are so valuable for coaches in trying to develop their young guys. Keon Howard has showed some things from a physical standpoint running the football. Bowl practices will be great to develop that as a team. And hey, I know it's not a home game, but Louisiana Tech would love to play in their home state.
Ryan Higgins has an empty backfield. fires one just over the shoulder of Trent Taylor. It's second down. Just another thought on what you said on the Golden Eagles. I mean, you lived that. Vanderbilt, when you got to school there, James Franklin put your team in position to get to a bowl game in your redshirt junior year, and then you guys won 9 games your redshirt senior season. You know, that extra bowl practice was invaluable.
Oh, it's huge. Those bowl practices, players don't love them, but it's a great opportunity to grow, a great opportunity to get young guys that haven't had a lot of run in the season.
Run at the quarterback there, and it's deflected. Almost ended up in the hands of Dewan Oliver as Elijah Parker came flying in on Higgins. It's third down.
Elijah Parker is that guy. Tony Pecoraro said he is the extension of himself when he's on the field. Obviously a protection breakdown there. Higgins did see it coming. He was able to elude and try to buy himself some time, but not quite enough.
Devonta Foster had a hand on it. And it's third down. Louisiana Tech 0 of 3 in this department today. They came in 7th best in the nation. Higgins stands tall. First down catch by Taylor. Trent Taylor with his 7th catch of the day, this time for 15 yards.
It's not a full stadium, but you notice the noise completely stops right after a third down conversion like that. You've already seen it now twice. They're going to start to exploit these matchups with Trent Taylor. When he's in the slot, he's getting double covered. They're bracketing him, which means they're having a safety play over the top of the underneath linebacker.
Higgins delay handoff to Jared Kraft, and Kraft into the secondary, down into Golden Eagle territory for 18 yards. Cornell Armstrong on the tackle.
And a big few blocks up front, but that's a setup cut right there by Jared Kraft. What I mean by a setup cut, you let the linebacker see you going to one side of the blocker, you stick your foot in the ground and get vertical. He set those blocks up for the O-line.
Just his 6th carry of the day, now 30 yards rushing. To the sidelines, Higgins, catch made by Alfred Smith. Smith with his 3rd grab, this one for 17 more.
And you may be watching that and say, okay, that's just a good completion. But there's some NFL scouts sitting over here to the right of us that are looking at Ryan Higgins, seeing if he has what it takes. Obviously, from a statistical standpoint, he does to play at the next level. Deep 18-yard comeback throws like that are what show he can play at the next level.
Bulldogs at the Golden Eagle 25 to the end zone. Catch made, but out of bounds is Dejon Oliver. It's second down.
We've seen a few toe-touch grabs today. Just a little too far. You see him trying to drag his foot there.
Higgins has been terrific. In all 11 starts he's made this season. Here's a fumble, ball on the ground, but Kraft dives on it wisely. And Louisiana Tech will maintain possession after that 7-yard loss. Dylan Bradley forced it.
You want to know why this is a 6-point game? Because of things like that. That right there is going to take points off the board. They're in a really difficult 3rd and long now. Just like earlier in the game, they were in the red zone, had a fumble. Instead of 6, they get 3. Costly mistakes to set up poor 3rd down situations.
They need to get to the Golden Eagle 15-yard line. Higgins fires one inside the 25 to Henderson. Picks up 9, but it's 4th down.
And that play call right there, yeah. The route might not have been designed to go past the sticks, but what it does is set you up for an easier field goal.
Well, Jonathan Barnes has a cannon for a leg. He has a long of 54 on the year. This is just a 40-yard attempt. 17 of 21 this season. Junior from Baton Rouge, Louisiana, the best kicker in Louisiana Tech history. But this time he pushes it to the right. So Louisiana Tech gets nothing out of the drive, but there is a flag down. Rodney Burnett conferring with his crew.
After the play, personal foul, unnecessary roughness, defense number 32. The yard to be assessed at first down, Southern Miss.
So Southern Miss will get the football after that personal foul call and the missed a field goal. The Golden Eagles have a 23-17 lead.
This one will settle itself on the field in Columbus. The loser is out.
Michigan, Ohio State, tomorrow at noon Eastern on ABC.
That's the offensive coordinator for the Southern Miss Golden Eagles, Shannon Dawson, really the head coach of the offense, calling all the plays from the field. Grew up an hour and a half away from Hattiesburg in Clinton, Louisiana. Thought he was going to sit out this season after being released from his duties at Kentucky. But did not turn down Jay Hobson when he was afforded the opportunity. And I know he's lucky to have Ito Smith running the football. Ito had 76 yards before that run of 7.
And not just Ito Smith, he's happy to have Nick Mullins back. I mean, for an offense that he even said himself needs a trigger guy. He was at West Virginia, their trigger guy. Geno Smith was pretty good. They've struggled in the last few games without Mullins.
On a 2nd and 3, Smith has nowhere to go and tries to get back to the line of scrimmage. He might have lost a yard there. It'll be 3rd down. Great pressure from Jordan Bradford and Russell Ferris. But Dawson was at West Virginia and Kentucky before taking the job here. As you were saying, it's all about trust. He believes he has plenty of it with Jay Hobson. The Golden Eagles are 2 of 5 on 3rd down tonight. Great throw by Mullins to a wide open Alenze Staggers. Alenze Staggers has had a phenomenal year, and that's a 40-yard catch.
And what a huge throw on a big 3rd down. But what started it was protection up front. Mullins able to step up in the pocket. Staggers going vertical down the field, all made possible up front.
Catch made that's going to lose a couple of yards. Behind the line of scrimmage is DJ Thompson. Play before, Staggers getting 40 yards and coming over to the bench. He's been banged up a couple of times today.
And a guy they need healthy, they need him on the field. Dawson was talking about how they have to move him around the field quite a bit because teams know that's where they want to go.
Catches 78 yards for Staggers. Thompson, who made that last catch, is over 100 yards with 10 receptions. And this time, here comes a jailbreak from Jalen Ferguson, his 13th sack of the season.
Boy, how quick was he on Nick Mullins? They're trying to bring Julian Allen across to block him, and Allen did not have a chance. Jalen Ferguson is much too explosive. Look how long he is. NFL draft scouts are looking at this guy. He's got a few more years here at Louisiana Tech, but definitely a guy that has a skill set to play at the next level.
Big loss there, 3rd and 19. Back on the Golden Eagles side of the field. Setting up the little screen, and it's incomplete. Threw it too far for Smith. And how about Louisiana Tech's defense there, Jordan? After the 40-yard pass to Staggers, they force a couple of tackles for loss and then force a punt.
That's a huge stop for Louisiana Tech, exactly what they need. You see Nick Mullins here talking with Shannon Dawson. Those are the plays that frustrate you. You have a screen set up against blitz. That's exactly what you want, and you're not able to find the window to get the ball to Ito Smith.
Tyler Sarrazin punting for the first time today. Seen him on kickoffs in holding responsibility, but never punting. And this goes over his head. Bad snap. Sarrazin can't get the football, and Louisiana Tech is set up inside the Southern Miss 15-yard line.
mental mistake. Southern Miss is finding every way possible to shoot themselves in the foot. This snap never had a chance. What you want to do here, if you can, either pick it up or kick that ball through the back of the end zone. I know it's a long way, but he completely misjudges a bounce. Now they have the ball in prime position to get 6. If you kick that through the back of the end zone, if you can.
Cody blocked the long snapper there with the bad snap. Connor Smith, one of the backup wide receivers, falls on it, and obviously no matter who fell on it, it was going to be Louisiana Tech's football after the 37-yard loss. Gives the Bulldogs the ball at the Golden Eagle 12. Higgins keeps it himself for a couple.
Higgins actually looked like there. He might have wanted to give that one. I think he was a little surprised. It's one of those, as a quarterback, you're trying to read a defensive end on a zone play like that, a zone read. You only have a half a second. Sometimes we guess wrong. It looked like Higgins was surprised there himself that he kept the ball, wanting to give that one. Made the best of it.
Saw you do that numerous times in Nashville. Higgins sprints to the right, throws to Taylor inside the 10. And a great open field tackle made by Cornell Armstrong.
We've seen Higgins be so accurate with the ball. That's a ball right there. You would have liked to be on the upfield shoulder of Trent Taylor to allow him to try to turn the corner there for some extra yards. Ball was a bit behind him, and now you're in a 3rd and medium.
So it's 3rd down. Louisiana Tech 1 of 5 in this down today.
Got 4 receivers split down here to the bottom. Got to imagine going to try to work something to Trent Taylor.
He's in the slot, but there's a whistle. Southern Miss is going to call timeout.
Timeout, Southern Miss. That's their first.
And we'll take it with them. It's 7:35 to go in the 3rd quarter. Southern Miss up, but Louisiana Tech threatening. It's been a fun day, beautiful day in Hattiesburg, but a little bit of sloppy play too, Jordan.
And that's the thing. Turnovers, miscues, mental mistakes. These are the things that keep good football teams out of the game. Both offenses capable of putting up points. Both defenses at times playing well. It's these type of plays that are really going to end up hurting somebody at the end. So far, it's been kind of a wash, but the team that protects the ball for the rest of this game is going to be the team that wins.
Southern Miss a whopping -19 in turnover ratio. Trying to get off the field on the 3rd down to the end zone, and nobody's home as Higgins throws it between 2 receivers. So it's 4th down. And that's the 2nd straight time the Golden Eagle defense has stiffened in the red zone.
And once again, a double team on Trent Taylor. That's where Higgins wanted to go with the ball. Tried to buy himself a little time, but just nobody else was open making plays there. They're going to have to settle for 3 once again.
Barnes missed from 40 yards his last time. This from 24.
Yeah, I guess you can't take it for granted. Oh boy, this could be a costly penalty here on Southern Miss.
Draper Riley was offsides. At least that's the initial indication.
Offside, defense number 9 with contact. Penalties after distance to the goal, 4th down.
And this is going to be a 1st down, Taylor. I think I'm watching. Nope. No, not quite.
Well, this is where being so close to the end zone hurts Louisiana Tech, and it saves Draper Riley, because instead of a 5-yard penalty, it's virtually a 3.5-yard penalty on Riley. So it'll be 4th and just over a yard for Louisiana Tech from the Southern Miss 4-yard line. And they are going to send the offense back on the field. You like this call?
Absolutely. Looks like they got some beef here. They're going to have 2 lead blockers. They're going to sweep it to the left or the right. A play they've run a lot. That's a good job right there. Southern Miss sees.
Southern Miss, that's their second.
Southern Miss sees what Louisiana Tech comes out in, calls a timeout to adjust. But that formation right there, they have 3 backs in the backfield. What they like to do is have 2 lead blockers either to the left or the right and hand the ball off.
Back to see if they get it in just a moment. Louisiana Tech was ready to settle for a chip shot field goal, but Southern Miss's Draper Riley was offsides, and Skip Holtz, the Bulldogs head coach, is deciding to go for it here on a 4th and 1 from the Golden Eagle 4-yard line.
I love it. And once again, mental cues playing a hand in every single drive we've seen so far. The offsides there. We'll see what Louisiana Tech does here. They came out in a very heavy formation. It looks like they're going to come out in that same formation. 3 possible backs, and they will.
They're 5 of 8 on 4th down this year. Bunch formation, 3 backs behind Higgins under center. Handoff to Kraft. Nowhere to go. Elijah Parker with the tackle in the backfield on a loss of 8 yards. And Southern Miss's defense gets them off the football field again.
Cannot understate how big of a play that was by Elijah Parker. Knifing in there, heading off the lead blocker right here. 11's the lead blocker there. He's going to try to allow the run to get outside, and Elijah Parker attacks his outside shoulder. Great fundamentals and blows up the run there. That is a huge play.
How about Louisiana Tech? 2 trips to the red zone here in consecutive possessions in the 3rd quarter and no points to show for it. Nick Mullins at quarterback from his own 11. Sets up the bubble. And Ito Smith might have gotten back to the line of scrimmage. Lloyd Grogan on the tackle.
When you're going against a guy like Jalen Ferguson, number 45 for Louisiana Tech, there's a few things you do to slow down a guy like that. Get the ball out of your hands quick as a quarterback. One thing Shannon Dawson said they were going to try to do, or you run screens at him. Try to slow him down, keep him guessing, at least not allow him to just pin his ears back and rush the quarterback every time.
2nd and 10. George Payne this time, and Payne maybe gets positive yardage. It'll be 3rd and long. Louisiana Tech front stiffens there. Only 3 returning starters from last season. 124th in the country in returning experience. Yet they're 8-3 on the year, a win away from hosting the Conference USA Championship game. But they're offsides here. It's a free play, and it's a catch made down the sideline by DJ Thompson. Jalen Ferguson was offsides, and several Louisiana Tech defenders stopped on the play.
And great awareness by Nick Mullins, and really that offense as a whole, especially DJ Thompson, keeping his route downfield. You got a free play. Take a shot. That's what he did right there to DJ Thompson down the sideline. Playing a cover 2. That honey hole right there, 18 to 22 yards on the button, is where DJ Thompson catches that ball. That's textbook right there against cover 2, and it was a free play.
26-yard completion. As you saw Ferguson at the top of the screen there, just upset with himself. Stopped playing for a moment. Ito Smith around the left side. Gets the edge, gets the 1st down.
Running to the left has been Southern Miss's best play this season. You want to know why? They got a 5th-year senior, and another senior starting at center. That left side is very experienced and very talented with Will Freeman, Brandon Farmer, and then Cameron Tom at center.
Ito Smith approaching 100 yards rushing on the day after that 14-yard gain. Crossing pattern for 9 more. Chase Whitehead, sophomore from Fort Walton Beach, Florida, who transferred in from the Bulls of USF on the catch. 2nd and 1.
Thompson on an island down here at the bottom.
Mullins looks his way, instead goes left, and down on the knee. Making the catch for a loss of 3 yards is Corey Robertson. It's a good play in the National Football League, but when you have to go down to the ground like that, it's going to force a loss.
And that's what happens when you try to get the ball out of your hands quickly as a quarterback. Sometimes you don't get the laces. Sometimes you grab the middle of the ball. You just got to get it there any way possible, accurate, to allow your receiver to run.
Eagles 4 of 8 on 3rd down.
We'll look to the sideline here. Another cover 2 look by Louisiana Tech. 3 receivers down here at the bottom.
Play clock down to 1. Catch is made underneath that will move the chains. It's Corey Robertson again.
Big first down there by Corey Robertson. On the slant route, you see Ito Smith running a bubble. What that does is pull the linebacker outside and allow that window for Mullins to find Robertson.
Staggers has not been on the field since he made that 40-yard catch, but he is back in for this play on the 1st and 10. This time Mullins keeps it himself inside the 25-yard line. Doesn't run it very often, but he's had a sensational day today. Look at those numbers.
I mean, 24 of 28. They've been efficient. They've done what they want to get the ball out quickly. And then he's really capitalized on the down the field matchups, especially with DJ Thompson.
It's his 2nd longest run of the season. It was 8 yards. From the Bulldog 25. And that's a 1st down catch by Thompson again, who's well over 100 yards receiving and has 12 catches.
Run pass option, you've seen that a lot as they continue to push the pace here to the split receiver side. They're going to run zone away. And if that linebacker flows with the zone, it leaves that alley for the slant right behind it. We've seen him have success with that a few times now, especially on this drive.
Mullins goes over 300 yards like a surgeon. Here's the 10th play of the drive. Mullins looks underneath, studies the defense, goes to his 2nd receiver. It's Robertson. Inside the 10, down to the 6. It's 1st and goal. How about how he looks off his primary target and so comfortably hits that underneath receiver?
Well, just like before when he hit Robertson on the slant, Robertson was on a curl type search route this time, but they had a flat route, pulling those linebackers, and Mullins, a savvy move, using his eyes to open up the linebackers underneath and find that hole.
From the 6 to the top, 1-on-1. And the catch is made for a touchdown. Corey Robertson somehow brought that in. Touchdown, Southern Miss.
With a huge catch to cap off a drive. It was pretty much all Mullins and Robertson. This one right here, you got the cornerback playing over the top. This is a back shoulder. You either throw that back shoulder low and away or high and away. And Robertson, with his 6'1" frame, able to climb the ladder there. That's a great throw, great catch, capping off a really picture-perfect drive if you're Southern Miss. It's exactly what you want to do. Control the ball and finish it off there. Now they're going for 2. It's the right move, up 12.
Fake the option pitch, underneath throw, and Ito Smith is stone short of the goal line. Xavier Woods making the tackle, and Southern Miss's lead is 12 points. Impressive drive. Nick Mullins and Corey Robertson several times
Look
today.
at the arm angle there for Nick Mullins. Love changing platforms. But, boy, that's just a big boy tackle there. Coming in by Cedric Cooper. Xavier Woods around his ankles. Cedric Cooper came up with that blow that looks like didn't allow him to cross the line. Might take another look at it.
Phillip Rivers sidearm motion there.
That's one thing when I was watching film. Going to notice the hit again. Don't think he gets in, but when we're watching film on Mullins, does have a very good ability to change his platform, throw from different angles, which is very important, especially underneath in the screen game and getting the ball to backs. Sometimes as a quarterback, you have to find a window or an alley to throw the ball, and he was able to do it there.
(29-17), Eagles up on Louisiana Tech. It's rivalry weekend, and tomorrow at noon Eastern on ABC, we'll have the 113th playing of the game. Number 3 Michigan takes on number 2 Ohio State from the shoe in Columbus, and a possible college football playoff spot hangs in the balance. It's also streaming live on the ESPN app and watch ESPN. Buckeyes have won 4 in a row, 11 of the last 12. It's a happy Southern Miss Golden Eagle fan watching his quarterback Nick Mullins go 8 of 8 on that last drive for 47 yards. And Corey Robertson made 4 catches, including that impressive one-on-one touchdown catch.
Big catch from a guy that doesn't get a ton of attention. We're talking Staggers, we're talking Thompson. But boy, that drive was all Mullins and Robertson.
Both quarterbacks have been terrific today, but Mullins especially, who has lit up Louisiana Tech in consecutive seasons.
No touchdown passes for Higgins. It's really been mental mistakes down the red zone and haven't allowed them to capitalize on that from a guy that's 34 touchdowns, 4 interceptions this year. Got to imagine he's going to get one before this is over.
Impressive stuff there. Now Ryan Higgins is going to have to answer. He's gotten his team inside the 20-yard line both times they've had the football in the third quarter. Got some help from the punt team from Southern Miss, but Louisiana Tech has no points to show for it in the second half. Missed a 40-yard field goal, went for it on 4th and 1 from the Golden Eagles 4-yard line and got nothing. Down 12. Higgins pumps, goes underneath, and Scott makes a man miss and gets something out of the play. Impressive effort from the junior from Zachary, Louisiana.
If I'm Todd Fitch, I'm looking at that last play. Both safeties playing only 10 yards from the ball. We saw it earlier in the game. They tried to hit a post route to Carlos Henderson because they ran a dig route inside, held that safety, and you have a one-on-one matchup outside. At some point, they're going to have to connect on one of those downfield. And Southern Miss is giving them the looks that are going to allow for that.
I mentioned Todd Fitch, the offensive coordinator for Skip Holtz and Rustin up in the box. Nice job baiting a defender there and throwing it to his favorite target, Trent Taylor, as you see Fitch. So it's a first down throw for Louisiana Tech out near midfield. Fitch coming back to reunite himself with Holtz. He worked with him at East Carolina and South Florida. And Holtz has quite the impressive quarterback coach helping him out over there on the sideline from the legendary Tim Rattay. That's a gain of 11 yards for Higgins. And he quickly throws to the right side for a couple more to DeJohn Oliver. And that's the end of the third quarter. Southern Miss is 1 quarter away from bowl eligibility. They were a 2-touchdown underdog at home in Hattiesburg today, but they're on top as we go to the fourth. Southern Miss up 12. Louisiana Tech has the football to start the fourth quarter. Louisiana Tech's going to need a couple of touchdowns. It's not easy to replace a quarterback each of the last couple of years, but when your quarterback coach is the best quarterback in school history, that bridges the gap a bit. Tim Rattay had nearly 5,000 yards passing in 1998 and 46 touchdowns that season.
And how do you go from a gunslinger that Ryan Higgins was early in his career, 7 touchdowns, 16 interceptions before this season, to going 34 touchdowns and 4 interceptions? A whole lot to that guy, that quarterback coach, Tim Rattay.
2nd and 7, and this ball is dropped by Boston Scott. 3rd down. Louisiana Tech just 1 of 6 in this department today, as the Golden Eagles have 183 more total yards than the Bulldogs do. Southern Miss is outgained to this point, including this game, 11 of 12 opponents this year. LSU's the only team that outgained them, but here they are at 5-6, needing a win to become bowl eligible. 3rd and 7, short pass to Scott, and he'll run for the first down after the catch. Out of bounds in Golden Eagle territory. That's 11 yards.
And Higgins hasn't thrown a touchdown yet, but they're on a drive right now. When you talk about having a quarterback coach like Tim Rattay, I never had the privilege of working with a coach, especially a quarterback coach that had played the position. I want to talk about how different it is to work under a guy not only that was successful but played the position. You look at the game differently, and we're seeing it in his gameplay and his mental approach to the game.
Higgins pumps a couple of times, throws to the end zone, and is almost intercepted. Devontae Foster bobbled that football in both hands but couldn't come up with it. He's lucky that Trent Taylor didn't steal it away for a touchdown.
And there's one of those shots we were talking about. Caught him in coverage that they liked. And boy, almost an interception. And Higgins paid for it. Dylan Bradley, the leader of that Southern Miss defense, made Higgins pay for that one.
Higgins throws against his body, and he pays the price. Intercepted. Cornell Armstrong with his first interception of the season.
And from a guy that I was just praising so much for his mental capacity and his decision-making, that's a cardinal rule. As a quarterback, you don't throw across your body late.
Couple of flags down on the play. Could be a celebration penalty against Southern Miss, whose team has been playing freely all day.
Playing for a bowl game, Taylor. They're not thinking about the extra practices. They're thinking about that gift suite. They're thinking about the rings.
After the play, unsportsmanlike conduct on the defense, number 3. 15-yard penalty. That's number 3's first unsportsmanlike conduct.
The Southern Miss Golden Eagles want the bowl game swag. They're up 12 with 14-13 to go here at home at the Rock.
I'll never admit it, but Michigan and Ohio State actually love each other.
Rivalry weekend, and tomorrow the College Game Day crew is in the shoe in Columbus for the game. They'll break down the whole day. Big matchup between number 3 and number 2. It's Michigan and Ohio State. Starts at 7 a.m. Eastern on ESPN. Also streaming live on the ESPN app and watch ESPN. Okay, on a radio show that my man Greg McElroy and I do this morning, he took Michigan. I took Ohio State, and you, my man, also took the Buckeyes.
I did. I think they're the most talented team that can compete with Alabama when they play at their best. So that's what I want to see.
Edo Smith on the Wildcat. Gets up near the 20-yard line for 6 yards.
Most important drive of the game here for Southern Miss. And Jay Hobson, I guarantee, was preaching to his team, go for the jugular, let's get points. But Taylor, when you're coming out backed up, the goal here obviously always points, but at least get 2 first downs. What that means, you have the opportunity to change field position. You're playing as much right now against the clock as you are Louisiana Tech, up a few scores.
Smith went over 100 with that last run. He gets the football again. And he's a yard shy of the first down. It'll be 3rd down. Seems like the worst thing, Jordan, to your point, for a defense is when you allow the offense 3 plays at a first down.
Absolutely, especially a short yardage right here.
That's exactly what the Golden Eagles do, as Smith's 195-pound frame carries him forward for the necessary yardage.
And there's one. To my point, you always want to get points out of a drive, but there's 1 first down. If you can get another first down, not only is that going to take time off the clock, but it's going to allow you to punt the ball deep back into Louisiana Tech's own territory. You got to make them drive the length of the field if at any point you give them the ball back.
First and 10. Inside again, this time to George Payne, who's also from Mobile, Alabama. Both of those guys from the Port City. This is the closest FBS program until South Alabama started their program, the Jaguars in Mobile, to that city. I might know a thing or two about my wonderful hometown, just down Highway 98. 2nd and 10. Payne. Looks like he was stopped at the line of scrimmage for a 2nd straight play. It's 3rd down.
And if you're Blake Baker, defensive coordinator for Louisiana Tech, you're getting a little bit impatient, especially after 4 or 5 straight runs with some success. You saw them bring the safety down there into the box late to help with the run. I'm going to see him get more and more aggressive to try to force a turnover, make a big play, anything they can do to get momentum back and get the ball back.
Eagles 6 of 10 on 3rd down today with 12 minutes left in the game, and down goes Mullins. He's sacked back at the 15-yard line on a loss of 7. Jalen Ferguson now with 20 career sacks.
He's the guy up front. They didn't even bring pressure there. Like I just mentioned, they rushed 4. The 4 up front. Jalen Ferguson is just way too long, way too athletic off the edge. And in fact, he wasn't the only one hitting home there. Now you're backed up in a situation where you're not able to change field position as much.
Saracen from his own 1-yard line. Trent Taylor deep. Fair catch made, and he doesn't make the catch, and that was a mistake. That gives Southern Miss an extra 15 or 20 yards. That's a 60-yard punt. Louisiana Tech down 12 with 11+ minutes to go. A lot of proud Southern Miss graduates, including Tori Bowie, who medaled 3 times in the Olympics in Rio this past summer as part of the women's 4x100 relay. You see medals of all colors there represented on that beautiful artwork. And she was brought to tears with an enormous amount of pride back here in Hattiesburg, watching her Golden Eagles lead Louisiana Tech 29-17. Both quarterbacks have looked good today, especially Nick Mullins, the quarterback for Southern Miss. But it's time for Ryan Higgins and the Bulldogs to decrease the deficit. Higgins will throw left side with the catch made by Kraft out of the backfield, and he'll get to the 30-yard line. Neither team all that committed to the running game in the second half. Louisiana Tech 4 yards rushing, Southern Miss -9.
This is definitely a passing attack. Both sides of the ball, both having success. Louisiana Tech still trying to punch it in through the air.
And Higgins has it picked off again. throws it right to Picasso Nelson Jr.
And that's just a poor read. A stop route or a comeback on the outside. Flat defender was underneath it the entire way. As a senior quarterback, you got to know that's you got a solo route to the left side. You have nobody holding that flat defender. You can only go back there if it's man on man. You cannot go back there against zone coverage.
You mentioned Higgins' struggles turning the football over as a freshman and in relief of other quarterbacks as a sophomore and a junior. He hasn't done that at all this year. 34 touchdowns, 4 interceptions, but 2 picks in 2 consecutive possessions.
But Taylor, when you get in a situation as a quarterback that you're playing from behind, you start to force. And that's one thing Higgins has not done all year is force the ball. Right now, he's pushing the envelope and making mistakes that he usually doesn't make.
Mullins hasn't done it today. 28 of 32 passing, and here's Southern Miss in position again. It's Corey Robertson for 20 more.
We've heard that name a lot tonight, Corey Robertson. That's just another curl route. These are basic combinations, but the offensive line is giving Mullins time to diagnose the defense, and he's picking them apart right now. You said 28 of 32. A sweet return for Mullins.
Down to the 16-yard line.
Louisiana Tech shows pressure.
Goes Smith inside the 15 for a couple. Real important for Louisiana Tech to try to stop Southern Miss here and hold them to a field goal. If not, you're looking at a 3-possession game.
That clock is ticking right now. They have to be disruptive, look for some pressure, try to force Mullins into some bad decisions. But right now, that clock is their enemy. Down 2 scores already.
Smith goes against the grain, cutting it back for a couple more. It'll be 3rd down from the 12. 9 minutes remaining in the game. Jay Hobson, a former Jeff Bauer assistant. Bauer, the 2nd winningest coach in the history of Southern Miss's program, was the head boss here for 17 years, won 119 games. Hobson looking for that all-important 6th to make his team bowl eligible. He's a 3rd and 6. The bubble to Payne. Payne cuts it back, and he'll be 2 yards shy. It'll be 4th down.
And this is kind of that in-between. You kick a field goal, you go up 15, and that's going to be the move. They're going to try to go up here, kick a field goal. I thought for a second, with how their season has gone, they might go for the jugular there yet again, but this is a smart decision here. Take the points. The clock is ticking now underneath 8 minutes.
Stephen Broccoli forced into duty because of the injury to Parker Schoenfield, attempting a 25-yard kick. Senior transfer from Louisiana Lafayette, and this kick is straight through. Southern Miss now 5 of 5 in the red zone. They lead Louisiana Tech 32-17. It's rivalry weekend, and tomorrow the College Game Day crew will be at the Shoe in Columbus for the game. They'll break down the whole day and the big matchup between number 3 Michigan and number 2 Ohio State. Coverage starts at 7 a.m. Eastern on ESPN. It's also streaming live on the ESPN app, and watch ESPN. Should be an outstanding day of college football tomorrow. Washington already thrashed Washington State in the Apple Cup. Territorial Cup is tonight as Louisiana Tech makes the fair catch in this rivalry game, trailing 32-17. Iron Bowl tomorrow. Battle for the Palmetto State with Clemson and South Carolina tomorrow night. Good old-fashioned hate, Georgia and Georgia Tech as they call it. A pretty big game in Nashville tomorrow for your alma mater.
There
the Vanderbilt Commodores, just like Southern Miss, they need a 6th win to become bowl eligible.
And no love lost there, but yeah, a 6th win for Derek Mason would be huge in a year that been up and down. Defense is great, though. Zach Cunningham, one of the best football players in the country.
Vols coming to town. Ryan Higgins running for his life and is out of bounds for a 2-yard gain.
And a great choice there. Don't force it. We've seen him force a couple throws on the last few drives that have led to turnovers. Guaranteed Tim Rattay, his quarterback coach, took him aside before this drive and said, hey, here's the reason you've been successful. You've taken what the defense has given you. I know there's under 8 minutes left, but you got to get back to making the right reads. Don't force. We'll give you an opportunity to take a shot. But for now, take care of the ball. Have to get points on this drive.
Goes left side, and it's wide of Carlos Henderson. Incomplete. They've targeted Henderson 5 times today, but he only has 2 catches in the game for 25 yards. Great job by Jay Hobson's defense to eliminate the #1 touchdown threat in the country.
And they've been taking away the outside. So he's had some man coverage, but the zone coverage that has been over the top of Carlos Henderson has played on the outside with a safety inside. That makes it tough to beat Southern Miss deep. And they've just missed on an opportunity a few times, as well as thrown into bad coverage. Huge 3rd down here.
They're 2 of 7 today. Higgins stands tall but throws it too high. Intended for Connor Smith, but over his head. It's 4th down.
Higgins took a big hit there. Limping a little bit as he runs off.
.7:02 to go in the game, and Gerald Schaus back on to punt. Delonze staggers back deep. Schaus with a cannon of a punt. Takes staggers back near his 20-yard line. Spins around a couple of times and steps out shy of the 25-yard line. What a booming punt by Schaus. 59 yards, but his Bulldogs are down 15. Ito Smith over 100 yards rushing today for the Golden Eagles. A huge part of the reason they're up 15 in the 4th quarter.
Quietly the reason that they have been able to sustain drives, the jump cuts. I mean, the lateral agility of Ito Smith, his ability to set up blocks, escape guys, and then he's winning. If he gets in the open field, you're not bringing him down, and finishes runs with the physicality. Very underrated running back, but as good as it gets in Conference USA.
Wisely give it right to him, and he picks up a handful. Give him 6 on 1st down. He's gone over the 100-yard rushing mark for the 15th time in his career. That's the 3rd most in school history, and he's only a junior, and he has really run all over Louisiana Tech. He had 169 yards and 3 touchdowns last year. His numbers today have been terrific, as you see the ball control the Golden Eagles have had today. Smith, following his right guard, gets the 1st down to the 35-yard line. Last year in the loss, Kenneth Dixon tied the NCAA record for touchdowns with 83. And of course, he's running now for the Baltimore Ravens and running well. But Ito Smith has really been the story, at least from a tailback spot in this rivalry the last 2 times.
You notice here Southern Miss coming out in 4 wide receivers spread wide, ensuring it's a 6-man box. Playing the numbers game here to try to set up Ito Smith to grind this one out.
Pistol set this time. He's got a lot of daylight there for 3 or 4 yards. Great offensive line protection today from the Golden Eagles in front of him.
Well, you said it.
You've been calling out Brandon Farmer all day.
Brandon Farmer, Will Freeman, both fifth-year seniors on the left side, left guard and left tackle respectively. Ito Smith has been running behind them. They've been making blocks not just in the run game, but downfield on screens. This O-line has played very, very well today against a really good Louisiana Tech front four anchored by Jalen Ferguson and Dedrick Canty.
So the clock is a major factor, under 5 minutes to go. There's a fumble, ball on the ground this time, but picked up by Nick Mullins. And it'll be third down.
Just not a very good read here by Nick Mullins, and that's the thing. When the clock is winded down, you're in your 4-minute offense, you take the read tag off that as an offensive coordinator. You hand that one off every time. So Mullins should not even be thinking about keeping that ball, albeit it was a bad read to begin with as well.
It's 3rd and 6. Play clock down to 5.
Louisiana Tech has got to get off the field on this 3rd down.
Snap it with 1, and here's Smith. And the Bulldogs do just that, making the tackle at the 40-yard line. Just 4:01 to go in the football game. And that's the first charge timeout to Louisiana Tech as Eric Kinzer makes the tackle. So 4th and 5, 4:01 to go. Louisiana Tech 2 timeouts, down 15, and they basically can't afford many more negative plays the rest of the way.
At all. That 3rd down right there was the play of the game. Southern Miss gets that. I think it's over. Louisiana Tech still with a glimmer of hope, but they're down 2 scores, and not just 2 scores, but down 2 scores and a 2-point conversion.
You're never going to believe what's going to happen tomorrow, Jordan. At noon Eastern on ABC, we'll have the 113th playing of the game. Number 3 Michigan takes on number 2 Ohio State from the shoe in Columbus. It's a possible college football playoff spot, and it hangs in the balance. It also is streaming live on the ESPN app, and watch ESPN. That game, quite possibly the game of the year, let alone the game as it's called. Nice Aussie rules punt there is down inside the 4, still rolling at the 3 for 56 yards. Tyler Sarrazin with the punt. He has 2 of them today. One that went for 61, another from 56. Of course, they had that one that was snapped over his head, but when they've gotten the ball to him, he's been terrific.
And another one that's semi-misjudged by Trent Taylor. Definitely had one earlier that he should have fair caught in order to avoid a long bounce. It's hard to do those on the Aussie style, but if there's any way you can get in front of it like a shortstop and save your offense a few yards.
How about Higgins' decision-making in the second half today?
Just not indicative of what we've seen the entire season with Ryan Higgins. He just flat out not seeing guys and making decisions like that, throwing the ball late across his body. This was not the Ryan Higgins I was expecting to see, having watched a ton of film on him.
No touchdowns, 2 interceptions. He's in his own end zone. He rifles one past Trent Taylor there. Make that Boston Scott incomplete.
Tendency is to want to take big chunk plays, knowing that you have a long way to go on this drive and 2 scores down, but you got to get the drive started. And when you have a negative or 0 gain play on the first drive, on the first play, it's tough to rebound from that. Get the ball out of your hands quickly, into guys' hands, get some positive yards.
There's another bullet that's picked off. It's Picasso Nelson Jr. near the end zone, and he's marked down shy of the goal line.
Taylor forcing the ball. What I was just saying, take the easy throw, get a gain. Higgins had the underneath route, forced it into the secondary, and just once again did not see the underneath zone linebacker. And that could very well seal it.
See that late flag coming in.
During the return, illegal block below the waist by the offense. Penalties have passes to the goal. First down.
The third interception today thrown by Ryan Higgins on a day to forget.
Just a levels read, had a dragger right in front of his face. You take the easy one. I know it's not a chunk play, but anytime you start to force it like that, you run into there. And boy,
I tell you what, that might be 6. You heard me stall there waiting for the call because I saw that football go over the pylon. And it sounds like they may take another look at this. Nope.
Boy, I know we didn't have a good angle, but sure looked like he was close. This will be a good angle here. It's his foot. Oh, and it does look like his feet barely scrape up some of that black rubber from the field turf before he crosses the goal line. But regardless, play of the game right there.
3 minutes, 30 seconds to go. And they have confirmed the call, so Southern Miss, it could be a formality as they're on the doorstep at the 1-yard line. Mullins under center. Hands to Payne, straight ahead, and he does not get in. It's a skirmish after the play. As the clock moves near 3 minutes left in this game. If the Golden Eagles hold on, they get to bowl eligibility. This would be their 24th bowl appearance. Louisiana Tech is headed to one for the 3rd straight year. But Louisiana Tech's chances of hosting the Conference USA Championship game take a major hit. They would need Old Dominion and Western Kentucky both to lose tomorrow. Mullins on the keeper this time. No signal yet. It looks like he'll be marked short.
That's that untraditional quarterback sneak. Normally you take it, you nosedive right over the top of the center. Mullins hesitated to try to let the wash in front of him move and hit the B gap. Very stiff up front.
Louisiana Tech calls timeout. Their second of the half. Only one remaining, down 15. Conference USA standings, I was mentioning Louisiana Tech at 8-3 coming in. So with this game today, that will put them at 8-4 on the year. It's pretty simple. If Western Kentucky beats Marshall tomorrow, they will host the Conference USA Championship game in Bowling Green. If they lose and Old Dominion beats FIU at home, Old Dominion would host. Now, both of those two teams at the top of the East lose. Let's go back to Louisiana Tech. They would host in Shreveport, but chances of those things happening tomorrow are quite slim. Take another look at this last play as Mullins kept it himself. Hard to imagine anything would have been overturned there. 3rd down, inside the 1. Mullins, handoff, goes to Payne. Payne fighting, still on his feet. Still no signal. And it's 4th down. There's a timeout called by Louisiana Tech.
Boy, Louisiana Tech is showing some guts up front. This is close. On a second effort. Boy, heck of a second effort by both sides.
And you hear the fans in front of us at the Rock that are left want the home team to go for this one.
They want it, but let's logically look at the scoreboard and realize if you kick a field goal, They're no longer able to just get 2 touchdowns and 2 two-point conversions. Becomes a 3-score game.
Stephen Broccoli is standing on the field. He did come in last week in relief of Parker Schonfield and was 1 of 2 in field goal attempts. He's made his 2 tries today, but now he's being called off.
And you know what, Taylor? I mean, the only thought process here going forward is, hey, the only way Louisiana Tech can get back in this game is if they block a field goal, take it back for a touchdown. Here you're ensuring at least they have to go 99, even if you get stopped here.
From the inch line. Mullins to the end zone. Touchdown, Southern Miss.
Not denied this time. Hesitated last quarterback sneak, found an alley and dove through that time. That's the way you ensure there's no turnover. Your quarterback grabs it, dives over the line, either get stopped, make them go 99, or you score there and completely seal this one.
It's his 4th rushing touchdown of the season, Jordan. He missed the last 2 games with a concussion. He had started 25 in a row for the head injury against Charlotte. Broccoli's extra point does sneak in there, and it's 39-17 with 2:19 to go. He threw for 386 yards in this game last year. Over 4,500 yards passing. Last season was a school record with 38 touchdowns. 2015 Conference USA Player of the Year. What a 4-year career for the senior from Hoover, Alabama.
So impressed when you watch film with his accuracy. His arm strength doesn't jump out at you. His mobility doesn't jump out at you. Extremely accurate down the field. Great decision maker. We had a battle today. Had a battle between 2 really good quarterbacks in Mullins. After a little bit of break, we were unsure, and I was even asking the coaches, how's he going to respond after being out for so long, especially on a short week of practice. You're not allowed to have the same kind of up-tempo, thudded practices when you're on a short week. I thought we would see a little bit of rust from Mullins, and we have not at all. He has been sharp, accurate.
He had 591 yards passing in a win against Rice earlier this year. But I might argue this game's even more impressive against the best team in Conference USA today. 29 of 33 passing.
With your season on the line.
Henderson hasn't had the football much today. And he's got some daylight. Blockers in front of him. And he is brought down at the 45-yard line. He showed off a lot of pro speed, though. Curtis Michael might have saved the touchdown.
And 1 block away from going the distance here. If Connor Smith can get a late block here, he might go, but you talked about the speed. I was down on the field talking to defensive coordinator Blake Baker earlier about Henderson and his pro potential. He said no doubt this guy could be a 4.3 at the combine, showing his speed on reversing field there, and 1 block from maybe taking it all the way. Just wasn't given many opportunities today. Higgins would admit himself he probably didn't play his best game, missed on a few. Southern Miss had a great scheme against Henderson today.
Higgins to Taylor. It's a first down catch inside the 35-yard line, but just 1:58 showing on the clock. Higgins with 3 interceptions. Today he had only 4 on the season through 11 games, and certainly don't take anything away from the Golden Eagles with this performance, as that's another strike, this time to DeJohn Oliver inside the 20-yard line with 1:41 left. But Jordan, having the open week at this point, you just wonder if it has negatively affected Louisiana Tech, especially Higgins and his timing. Playing 11 straight weeks and then having a bye this late in the season, as you see a Southern Miss player is banged up.
You mentioned it, anytime you wait 11 weeks for that bye, it's not coming at a good time. You want that bye in the middle of the season to get healthy and then allow your team to still have momentum to finish the season out. When you wait 11 weeks, bye weeks kind of get your team in a lull, no matter how much you try to approach it aggressively with up-tempo practices. Not a great time to have a lull at the end of the season for Louisiana Tech.
You hate to see Nelson banged up there. Picasso's got 2 interceptions today. And Southern Miss is going to call their last timeout. Let's take a look at those Conference USA scenarios again. Louisiana Tech was in total control of its own destiny to host the Conference USA Championship game before this one, but now giving Southern Miss the victory, you see the scenarios there. Marshall's had a really disappointing season. Western Kentucky wins tomorrow in Huntington, and they will host the Conference USA Championship game next week, or if Old Dominion loses, at home to the FIU Panthers. And you see Old Dominion scenarios, they need some help. They need Marshall to win, combined with that victory. You know, 2 years ago, Marshall was a win away from a perfect regular season, and since then, Conference USA has had a lot of parity and not really been in the New Year's Six discussion, at least in terms of the group of 5 champion, if you will. This year, Western Michigan has a shot at that. Navy does. Boise State lost today, by the way, to Air Force. So they're out of that discussion.
And that parity you're talking about, just a product of so much realignment in Conference USA. University of Texas San Antonio, FAU, FIU, Old Dominion, Charlotte, all relatively new to this conference. Which was great to see both these teams early in the year compete. Southern Miss beating Kentucky and Louisiana Tech taking it to the end with a backup quarterback against Arkansas. You love to see that conference be able to compete against SEC opponents with so much realignment and so much parity across the board.
Kraft made a 3-yard catch. A little confusion there between Higgins and Henderson. It'll be 3rd down. Just 1:08 to go in the game.
Going to see 2 more shots in the end zone. Going to need a whole lot of help in the form of a few onside kicks. Just not the day we expected from this Louisiana Tech offense.
No, it's not.
We talked about the last 2 times they played Southern Miss, averaging 415 yards through the air. Just a little over 200 today. Higgins has not been sharp, especially mentally. Not quite what we expected, Taylor.
Empty backfield for Ryan on the 3rd down. End zone try again. And there's pass interference. A flag's going to come in as Rashid Bonnett, freshman from Louisiana, interfered with. Looked like Denarius Antoine down there.
That's the right call. Got to play the ball. Curtis McKell not playing the ball there.
Pass interference, defense, automatic 1st down.
Michael and Antoine both up and converging there, so it is a 1st down. If Western Kentucky wins tomorrow, you got 2 really good football coaches going up against each other in that championship game with Jeff Brom and, of course, Skip Holtz, who I know would both love a shot at the Power 5 level, but they're not going to leave for any job, loving their current situations. Here is Kraft, who gets into the end zone for a touchdown with 57 seconds left in the game. It's a 2-yard run for the junior from Houghton, Louisiana, his 8th of the season. I think we're going to have a late personal foul call here. Center for Louisiana Tech, Joseph Brunson.
Getting into it with Dylan Bradley down there, number 94 for Southern Miss. As the leader of the defense, got to have some self-control at the end of the game. It's been a little testy today.
After the play, personal foul, unnecessary roughness on the defense. 15-yard penalty, assessed on the kickoff.
You hear the crowd. They certainly didn't like that call, so they get Bradley instead of Brunson there.
You know why? It's always the second guy
It is.
that gets it. Bradley probably didn't initiate it, but you react, you're going to get a flag every time.
Barnes straight through with the extra point. Just 57 ticks left, and we have more action. A little discussion of what everyone had for Thanksgiving yesterday. Wait, you had stuffing too?
No, man, I had turkey and some pumpkin pie. Those big guys love food. I do too.
It is such a wonderful holiday, filled with food and football.
You had a round one yesterday. Then you showed up at our Thanksgiving ESPN production dinner, and you decided to go round two on dessert, I believe.
I have to say, it was fantastic. Yeah, I got a little pecan pie with vanilla ice cream last night. There's Southern Miss's Thanksgiving dinner that they had yesterday. Everybody getting in on the action. I know that Coach Hobson was fired up to get all the guys together for that.
Tell you what, as a player for a long time, you don't get to have many Thanksgivings as a college athlete back with your family. So those dinners right there are pretty special. And the more a school, the more a coaching staff can create some unity and camaraderie in a family type environment, that goes a long way, because you spend a lot of holidays away from your family, not to mention when bowl season comes around. Sometimes you're not there for Christmas.
Well, especially to our entire crew, as you see the onside kick attempt coming up. Takes a good bounce, but it goes out of bounds, and Southern Miss will get the football. I want to thank Catherine Caroon and our entire ESPN production crew for putting that together last night. That was delicious, and some great fellowship.
And much needed food, because I tell you what, I rolled into Hattiesburg a little hungry from my long trip. Couldn't find a single place open.
Had a lot of fun today here on a Black Friday in Hattiesburg with our staff.
That penalty's declined.
Jim, Mike, Matt, Daryl, everybody in the truck. We thank Drew and Kevin up here for all of their help. And a crowded little television booth. But everybody likes to be together with friends, you know? So,
you know what, Taylor? I'm thankful for you. Well, even you being this close right now.
I know that Southern Miss fans are thankful for Nick Mullins. What an amazing day he had today. 29 of 33, 342 yards and 3 touchdowns. Ito Smith, 127 yards rushing, but
29 of 33. How do you do that? You complete all the easy ones, and you have a few like this downfield that you put on the money as well. He has played well today, like I said, completing the easy ones, making big plays downfield.
And here comes the best formation in football, right?
Doing it a little different than normal. The shotgun knee.
No center snap exchange there. Shotgun snap for the victory.
I'd say more could go wrong on a shotgun snap than under center. I haven't seen that too many times.
This is clearly the best moment that Southern Miss has had at home all season. They had the signature win in Lexington to start the season, but a lot of ups and downs. Minus 19 in the turnover margin this year has been costly, but what a win today for Coach Hobson and the Southern Miss Golden Eagles. They beat Louisiana Tech 39-24. They're going back to a bowl game. Louisiana Tech will have to wait to see where they'll be playing the Conference USA Championship game next weekend. Could be at Old Dominion or at Western Kentucky, or if both teams lose, they'll be in Shreveport to host it. Nick Mullins with a phenomenal performance in his final game at the Rock. Southern Miss beats Louisiana Tech 39-24. For Jordan Rogers, I'm Taylor Zarzer. Coming up next on ESPN News, we send you to SportsCenter.